Hey-o.
Hey.
You're watching the 4Nerds.
Now, you did take your laxative today, right, Andre?
I did. I felt great.
Got your butt plug?
No,
Whoa,
that's the
no.
opposite.
What
That's the
the-
It's
opposite.
going to be a swamp.
I don't.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yo, what is?
Anthony's so confused.
Bad case of swamp
Did
ass.
butt plug come from Dawson?
Yes.
What? That's not G-rated.
Yeah, yo.
Oh,
He has an edge, guys.
He's dark.
All right, let's just get this on the road.
This is Richard Citrone, and you're watching the 4Nerds. Soon to be 5Nerds.
What
Hey!
up?
Yes! Thank you and welcome to another episode of the...
I'm gonna mute him before he gets too far ahead of himself. He always tries to do this, and it's annoying as hell. What's up, everyone? Here are 4Nerds, and this is the 4Nerds. I'm hosting today,
What?
Josh Music.
I did way better.
Shut the hell up. Nobody heard what you said.
Everybody has to wait until you're done, and then we can start hosting.
Yeah, apparently. But guys,
What's up, everyone?
welcome to episode 54 of the 4Nerds.
naming
Let me do
them.
my job.
It does help because when we do the thumbnails, I'm like, God, what episode is this?
Oh,
I have to look at the
Previous
previous one.
Yeah, that's an
I'm like,
excellent
oh.
idea every single time.
yeah. We
But see,
gotta
now
make
it has
sure.
on the top now. It has on the top.
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
above the
yes,
screen.
yes.
But guys, welcome to another episode. It's gonna be a fun time. We have a special guest today in the form of Ray from the FLITECAST podcast. It's gonna be a great time. We have some great topics to discuss, some great and interesting news that came out today, and also just discussing movies in general. Because as you guys see in the description, and you guys know, we're a bunch of freaking nerdish hooligans. So let's see who all is in the chat today. We got Job Diaz, who was first. What's up, my
What
dude?
up?
Right on.
First.
Hey,
Ah!
first.
Where's
We
that
got
random?
Terry
He
video?
didn't do the Zorath thing. What?
Okay, now it's gonna happen. Like it's gonna happen.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
and now
now
it's going to happen,
now
but
that
he
you brought
didn't
it
do
up.
it.
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
do
he
it.
will now.
Yeah.
So of
Pretty
course,
much.
no. I'm just saying. You know, once you make something known and you bring light to it, then yeah, it has to happen. But I'm just saying, I'm very shocked.
Well, it's gonna happen now. Tara Prima says, "Hey guys, I'll rewatch this morning. Have a great stream. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and
Yes.
some by briefly." Job Diaz tells us about some food that they're eating. Said made some pizza bites with garlic bread, tomato sauce, and sausage and Colby cheese in the air fryer. Air fryer.
Oh,
What?
Wow,
Mm.
interesting. Job Diaz is-
Experimentation time.
Yeah, Job Diaz is
What
quite the
is
chef.
sausage?
Oh, sausage.
I've never had
Sausage.
that. It sounds good.
Sausage.
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 It's sauce with
Less
sage.
than sausage.
It's sausage. Sausage.
Oh, geez.
Philip
He
Barker?
must be from up east.
Oh,
What's up, Phil? Good to have you in the chat. DC Talk Extended. What's up?
what up?
Yeah.
What up, guys?
We got Fear Jason. Fear the Jason. Fear
What up,
it.
Jason?
We got Dr. Fate. What is up, my dude? Says MCU. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We know where you stand.
Shock verse?
We know
Yeah,
where
we
you
know.
yes, we
I've
know,
never
yes.
heard of shock verse. That's
We know what side of the fence you sit on.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Anthony
what's
Ultra,
good?
what's up?
Anthony's up
What
in
up,
here.
what up?
Not talking mess yet, but he will.
The superior Anthony's in the chat.
Oh, well, damn.
Dang.
It's like
Dang.
ACS never replaced.
Yeah.
What up, Frank?
Frank the
Frank was
Snyder
good,
Verse.
man. Was good, man.
Got Ryan Rivera. Dude,
What up,
is
Ryan?
up? We got Brooks
We got
Sherfield.
Brooks Sherfield. Get up.
Hey, Mrs. Apparel.
Yeah, we're wearing her apparel.
She's the
Yeah.
merch sponsor of the 4Nerds, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome.
You're gonna-
So
you're
yeah,
gonna-
so Anthony has her locked away in a room, and she's got like a spinning
Okay,
wheel.
see,
and-
relax. No.
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, how's that shirt's coming? it's coming! It's coming!" He's like, "All right," and he shuts the door and locks it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Ben Robinette. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Or Ben Robinet. I don't know. But it says time to eat nachos and watch 4Nerds. Hey,
Yes,
sounds like a
the
good night to
official
me.
food of the 4 Nerd Network.
Yeah, we're sponsored by nachos.
We're sponsored by
Whataburger.
nachos.
Speaking of which, do you guys see that Doritos is changing their bag design? Did you guys see that?
No.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, they're changing
Okay.
the logo to just simply like an orange triangle.
Well, okay. So a lot of companies have been doing like say, Domino's.
Like simplification. of,
Simplification.
like, the
Same
logos.
thing
Yeah.
like Pepsi. You know, they have the circle with the the three colors or whatever. They all try to make it to where
four nerds, 4N.
4N, yeah, right there. I mean, it's all about branding, and yeah,
Yes, we are oversimplifing the
I'm
logo.
only allowed to watch 4Nerds too.
Wow,
Not world's
easy.
finest,
Is this
not world's
true?
finest.
No,
Not
Hey,
worth
he's like, girl, you
can't
better
watch
watch
me.
it because we need the views.
You better subscribe.
You better subscribe.
What's up,
Leave a
Lewis
like.
Cox? Saying hi to the only one that matters.
Oh, get out of here.
only Dawson. Okay, whatever.
Well, it's good to have you guys here in the chat today. It's going to be a fun time, some great topics. And without further ado, let's introduce our guest. He is none other than the Flycast himself. It is Ray. How's it going, man?
What
How's it
up?
going? What's up?
What's
going
up?
on?
This has been a long time in the making getting you here, man. It's been a lot of like.
First thing I notice is the Victor Koo poster behind you, man.
I
yes,
know.
I see that.
that is literally from the time that I actually met Dawson and Anthony
Yeah.
in person.
Yes.
Because they came up here. Because I'm in Michigan and they came up to Birmingham.
I was like, what are you pointing at?
He's like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
No, this is the one that I got while I was there too. So
I want
Yeah.
to talk about Anakin
I want to
Skywalker.
talk about pause.
Ray's
Yeah.
like, okay, we can talk about that if you'd like.
I'm open, but no, that's just this is all of this is like probably my biggest. Like I try to be equal opportunity, because that's like my DC representation. Then I have like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, aka the best MCU movie ever made.
I agree.
Clearly,
I agree.
by
Yes.
far.
agree.
I'm still
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm
yes.
still waiting for them to top that. I've been waiting for years.
Yeah.
And then personal favorite, Rogue One. I love Rogue One. I love that movie.
The ending
do.
is phenomenal.
It's a great ending.
I'm not gonna disagree with that at all, but I do love the movie
I love it,
itself.
It's a good movie. It's the best of the, I guess,
The Disney era, the Disney
Yeah.
era, the best of the Disney era,
right? The
yeah.
best of the Disney era. Yeah, I would
Or
you
the
know-
newer Star Wars films.
You know what?
Yes,
I'll agree with that. I will.
Mhm.
I famously have said before, and this happened like after I did a full rewatch going into Rise of Skywalker, and I have famously said, and I do hold true to this personally, there are no bad Star Wars movies, in my subjective opinion. Because what do I say? It's all subjective.
It's all
Yeah.
subjective.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree-
yeah.
I
Art
agree
is
with
also
that.
subjective, yeah.
You know that it's all subjective. But if you had to ask me what is my least favorite one, that's different. You know,
Well, I get right, and again, it's whatever your preference is. You know, it's like that. I know a lot of people, and I don't know where you guys sit on this, but I know a lot of people like the last couple of years have really like staunchly been defending the prequel trilogy. And
I love the prequel trilogy.
I'm not from. I'm older, so it's all original trilogy for me.
Right.
Seriously, like,
Yeah,
that's-
Empire Strikes
no
Back
problem.
is the best of the
yes,
I agree.
absolutely,
saga.
Absolutely.
if
I
you will.
agree.
Yes.
I completely
Yeah.
agree.
So-
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one film in the Star Wars saga that I have a problem. I can't find a flaw. As far as like
Yeah.
I nitpick shit to hell,
Yes,
Oh,
he
so
does.
we know, we
Holy
know.
crap.
and that's the one film that I
We know.
can't.
The only
And I
like,
know a lot of behind the scenes, like all just errors and
Yeah.
things that they fixed or whatever. But as far as narratively, Irving Kershner, he nailed it.
well, he was the
took-
best of the three directors. He was the best of the three directors.
He's
Like,
the
even-
best of all the directors. JJ, Ryan,
George.
Richard.
If
yes.
if we're ranking all the directors, yeah, I would agree with that. I would say he had the best pedigree for sure. The only stuff
Second is Ron Howard, and that's not the director of Rogue One,
well,
but just best director.
right, no, Ron Howard, director of Solo, yeah, but like,
Yeah.
but it's the like as far as I didn't have
That's
issues
jacked out, man.
with Empire until they started changing stuff. There's one thing that they changed. I usually am not like that big. I'm not that nitpicky about what they changed for the special editions, but there was one change they made to Empire that I hate. Don't like it at all. And that is, this is no disrespect to Tamara Morrison at all, but his voice should not be in that movie because Boba was an unaltered clone, which means he shouldn't have the same voice. And I loved the original voice. The original voice was awesome.
The original voice,
right. Jeremy, what's his last
name? No,
name?
not Jeremy Bulloch. Jeremy Bulloch was the actor, the one who was in the suit, but the actual voice was a different guy.
He was a different guy? I know, because I know that they let Jeremy say the lines on set.
They did. Well, it's the same with David Prowse. David Prowse.
Yeah, so David Prowse said the lines on set.
We don't want to get into that. That was horrible. Yeah, he was like, that's not my voice.
Who's
that guy?
Why do you sound good?
But I think the guy's name was Don Franks, if I'm not mistaken. He was the voice of the original. I think or maybe I don't know. I'm trying to look in. No, my bad. Jason Wingreen. That was his name. Jason Wingreen was the original Empire, just that gravelly, like, what if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
I think I can agree with you. I can agree with you on his voice is better, and it suits the bounty hunter-esque, who Boba Fett is. Yeah. And that's what made him such a classic, awesome character. I also understand why they changed it to Tamora because of Daniel Logan. That he was like, he had that sort of Aussie accent or tried to have the Aussie accent. I don't know if that's legit or not, but so I can understand both things.
I don't think it's Aussie, but more so New Zealand.
Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi.
Got it.
Yeah.
Kiwi.
Yes.
Although I thought the original voice of Boba Fett was better, and they just should have left it alone. I was actually disappointed when I found out when I saw the version where they put Hayden Christensen's face on the old Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin,
in Return of the Jedi. I was like, what the hell? I was like, this is so unnecessary. Like, why are we doing this?
And the only way that they could
I was fine with it.
The only way they could have made that
what do you know?
Make sense to me or have it to where it
it's all subjective.
It is. Is if they actually had Hayden in the sequel trilogy. Talking to Mark Hamill. And they didn't do that, and that was just stupid on their part. It's just like having Ewan McGregor now, right? Yeah. Ewan McGregor's perfect age. And I'm on the boat in the camp, and I know I'm alone on this, and I don't care. But I wouldn't mind if you've seen what is it? Scene 38 remastered, the one that our good friend Richard Citrone was Darth Vader. I wouldn't even mind if Citrone went up against Ewan McGregor and they reshot and just had Ewan in the correct age and replace Alec Guinness. I'm fine with that for episode 4.
And that's of course, and the reason Scene 38 exists is because I think almost unilaterally, or at least a vast majority of us think like, well, if you're going to redo any of them, that's the one you need to redo. Like any of the lightsaber battles, that's the one that kind of sorely needs to be redone. And it's not their fault; they didn't know what they were doing. Their rods were connected. And they actually had the actual flash because when they touched it, it created the lens flare, and because they had these rods, and when they were fighting, it was a different style from the original trilogy to the prequels. In that the original trilogy, they were saying these laser swords are really heavy. So you have to use 2 hands, and that's why they swing the way they do. And then when you have Ewan and Liam, they're like, "Oh no, it's not heavy. It's actually a very light weapon, and you can do this." They had that whole
Ewan
stance
and
where
Liam. Liam Neeson. Sorry,
Ewan and Liam, and also Ray. They were like, these weapons you can fling them around, throw them, do whatever. It's the physics are different. Yeah. So if they had kept that tone and said, yes, these laser swords are heavy, they would have had to change a lot of the choreography in episode 1.
It would have slowed down.
It would have slowed down.
But
it could have slowed down and still bitching, but not the same
Yeah, no, not
intensity or
to
energy.
the Duel of the Fates would not have felt the same way at all,
Right.
and especially in Ray's case when he's got a double bladed. Now he's got to be able to twirl that shit over his head.
Oh, yeah.
and,
Yeah.
do all that crazy
Well,
stuff.
originally his hilt was shorter, and he was like, "This can't happen. I need a longer hilt." So
yeah,
he
no, that
requested
wouldn't
that
even.
they
Yeah.
lengthen it so that he could do the acrobatics and stuff like that.
Well, that makes more sense, especially for later when Obi-Wan actually slices it in half and he's got to go.
It's
with
still
a single
functioning.
blade.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
He's like,
No
guys,
sparks."
it's not real. It's not gonna cut you.
But to me, the first time that I watched Phantom Menace,
Later.
the first time I saw it in the theater, the scene where Qui-Gon takes on Darth Maul out in Tatooine. That was the first time where I saw them fight with lightsabers, and I literally, my jaw was dropped on how fast they were moving. I mean, like, and it was a very quick scene, but they were going at it so quickly that I was just like, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit, like, this is, like, these guys know what they're doing, you know what I mean? It escalated things to the point where it's like, okay, these are extremely skilled, individuals with a lightsaber. That's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
And then they made the distinction. Oh yeah, well,
Everyone
everyone.
Lucas said about it.
Yeah, like
That was the Jedi in their heyday.
Exactly. They're all experienced and they all know
I
what
would
they're
have
doing.
loved to have seen in the sequel trilogy sort of that trying to get back to that, having Luke training more people instead of you're back to, okay, you only have Rey and you only have what's his face?
Well, Ray's right here.
Kylo. Right. Well, what's your family name, FLITECAST?
Skywalker. It's not. No, it's not Skywalker or Palpatine. No, look. I will say this about the sequel trilogy.
Calrissian.
It's like. Why? Why Calrissian?
I know.
Why Calrissian?
You open that
You
door.
look like you're from Cloud City.
We're gonna.
Simon, go f yourself.
All right, Star Killer.
All right. No, but no. It's such a because all the arguments I've heard and all the people that are just fie on the sequel trilogy, it's the worst thing known to mankind. All that. It's like, okay, do I understand the arguments? Yes. Do I get what people are saying? Yes. Did I really care when I watched the movies? No, not really. It's just I don't know what it is. It's just like with that franchise, with those movies, I just have more of a capacity to just turn my care button off. I'm like, whatever. I don't, especially after The Last Jedi, because I went into The Last Jedi with so many expectations.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, they're going to do great Jedi and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And then Rian Johnson's just like,
that's what I love too. Like when I went and watched The Last Jedi in theaters, like when Snoke died, I laughed in the theaters. I busted out laughing.
I did too. Because I was like, who's going to take over? Because Kylo's a little bitch. I was like,
that was probably
like,
so big
I was just thinking, like,
Kylo was not established enough to take over as the main villain.
Well, the thing is,
so
like,
when that happened,
I sat there and
wait,
I watched all these different videos. In fact, some of the videos, ironically enough, that I watched were Mike Zero talking about talking about Last Jedi, and I was it was. I didn't realize that it was so bad. But I get to the theater and I watch, and I was like, all of these theories were completely wrong. Completely. It was so freaking
and he's still wrong today. But that's another conversation.
Go ahead.
But no, it was like after watching that and having all of my expectations completely subverted, instead of getting angry like so many friends I knew did, I went the other way and went, I love that I didn't predict a single damn thing right.
Yeah.
And I just want to continue to be surprised. So when it came time for episode 9, I was like, I don't care. I'm not people. What do you think's going to happen? After the last movie, you want me to make predictions? You literally, you want me to literally make predictions on what's going to happen?
The last movie kind of closed everything up. It was like, well, there's no need for an episode 9. We're good.
Yeah, they buttoned everything up, and now they're like, now what do we do? Like, let's go back to the past. All right.
Like, I was just trying to clear the slate,
Well, and I mean, and to be fair, and this is where I was kind of trying to say earlier, like with the sequel trilogy, they were in they were in this weird place because it had been so long since there'd been a Star Wars movie. And remember, with Force Awakens, they made that whole big push back to practical effects and no more, less of the green screen, because that's what everybody was bitching about with the prequel trilogy and all that. So there was this nostalgia that they were really trying to tap into, which is why I'm not going to argue with somebody that calls The Force Awakens a rehash of Episode 4. I'm just going to tell you I like both. That's all I'm going to say, But so they were caught between a rock and a hard place.
Well, I mean,
with that,
in my opinion, I thought that The Force Awakens was the best of the three in the sequel trilogy. In my opinion, only because I liked that they set up storylines and they set up things for the next movies that obviously didn't get followed up with, but I liked how they set things up. I like how they left some mystery to how we got to certain things, certain aspects of the story. However, I still disagree the fact that I think that Luke should have been running his own academy. I think that Han should have been a general. I don't like how they basically made every character from the original trilogy a failure. And I know there's an argument of saying, well, nobody's perfect, and in this, not everything happens the way you want it to happen. But I think that in order to establish and better establish the newer characters, you need to put the original characters in the places that you pretty much figure they were going to be in, so that you could focus on developing your newer characters without having to explain and take up so much time explaining what happened to the older characters.
I have to say I disagree. I disagree with the take on Han Solo needing to be a general because I'll say this. Because, again, you remember in the original trilogy, he was a scoundrel. He didn't want to be a part of the rebellion. He was a reluctant hero. He wasn't about that life. He was always going to be a scoundrel. He even approached it with that way, even in Return of the Jedi. So, he's kind of a guy who's set in his ways, and so it makes sense that after the war is over and he's no longer needed, he just kind of goes back to what he does best.
Well, but it was more like, once Kylo went to the dark side and ran off and destroyed the academy, then he went back to that because he was, he didn't know what to do with himself.
Did they say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure from my perspective,
that's what the divorce attorney said.
Yeah, they were like after Kylo left, I went back to doing what I knew to do or something. But I just thought that to me now you're wasting time explaining how these characters from the previous three movies got to where they are now, when you can almost cut that in half by putting them where they probably should have been, in my opinion.
I mean, did they take that long explaining it though?
Yeah, they really didn't.
Because the whole time you're like, okay, so Luke's academy burned down and he's on an island. Why is he on an island for? We don't know yet. And then
he's only following the example of his master Yoda.
Yeah, but he went into exile because they were being hunted and killed. He failed in fighting the Emperor, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go into exile." And Luke Skywalker failed to stop Kylo, so he went into exile. It's like pretty much the exact same thing.
No, I can see that.
I can see where you're going with it, but I would disagree. I'm just saying.
I think personally that they relied too heavily on the original cast. It's awesome, and so sad that Carrie's no longer with us. But I think that they in the prequels, moving to the to the originals, you didn't rely on any of the characters. You had Obi-Wan, but he played a very minimal part.
But it was because of when it was set, though. You couldn't rely.
No. It's 17 years from episode 3 to episode 4.
Right.
And from 1983 to 2017, it's pretty much the same time span. So you really didn't have to. It's good to have them, but I would have loved for the original cast to just be sort of peppered into the story and focus on the new characters, the new cast. Give us a reason to give a shit. What's the story here? The story was the same damn story. Take out Palpatine again. And the second one was a slow speed chase. It was boring. It was like, it felt to me like this is Spaceballs 2 written all over it. It's just, you've got the
That's harsh.
Spaceballs 2. Because you've got that long ass ship from the very beginning, slowly creeping along, and then you've got the rebels or
Spaceballs got that from a place. Where
they got that from a place, and it was awesome. But what they did was they said, you know what? I'm going to take what they did in Spaceballs and just put it into this movie pretty
Mhm.
much. Because that's all it was. It was a slow. They didn't cut him off.
I do want to respond real quick to Neon Sci-Fi here, saying Luke never listened to his masters. Why would he do the same thing as them? The reason he do the same thing as them is because when you're put into a situation where you're not sure what to do, you go by the examples that were shown to you. You go by what other people did, right? Like
as you get older,
as you get older and you get experience, you're like, oh,
didn't show him this, and Yoda didn't show him that. He found them in the positions that they were in. They didn't teach.
Yeah, but Yoda taught
when times get tough, you must go. You know,
when Yoda taught him, he no doubt taught him the history of what happened. He's like, when I failed, I went to exile. Like
I looked at it more. I looked at it more in terms of the allegory of like what happens when you like get older and like not necessarily wiser, because a lot of times when people get older, they don't necessarily get wiser. They get set in their ways and they're like, like that's when they get more paranoid. That's when they get more like, oh no. Like he was more of a brash risk taker when he was younger. Mm-hmm. And then as he gets older, he's like, well, I don't know, because I remember the Empire and I remember everything that I had to do with Vader and all that. And I don't want that to happen again. Right. Yeah. So it's not even necessarily, I didn't look at it necessarily as it was what Yoda or Obi-Wan taught him. I looked at it as he was just getting older and paranoid and didn't want history to repeat itself. But the whole thing that allows me to personally reconcile the sequel trilogy, a lot of the stuff in it is treating it as history being doomed to repeat itself.
Yes.
That's why the First Order, they're neo-Nazis, right? If the Imperial Empire was the first Nazis.
So they were Nazis, they would be neo-Nazis. Yes.
Exactly. Right.
And I get that.
And so that's why they're building Star Destroyers again, and that's why they build a planet Death Star as opposed to a space station.
You've seen the Death Star. You've seen the Death Star too, but now we can't call it the Death Star 3 because that's copyright by Warner Brothers. We will call it the Star Killer Base.
Killer Base.
Right.
And somehow it was created.
I mean, look, after the Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of Skywalker, The Force Awakens, I was willing to go with whatever the story that they had put out, right? Okay, so all the characters had their downs, their ups and downs. Okay, I can live with that, but the execution in The Last Jedi, I just didn't agree with. And I thought that trying to add too many jokes, I thought that there was too many things execution-wise and storytelling-wise that I did not agree with in The Last Jedi. Now, it's a beautiful movie. Cinematically, like it's just like the shots and the special effects and the cinematography,
and the practical effects.
Yeah, beautiful movie.
Beautiful, yes. Costumes are great.
I just felt that the story itself, I didn't like it. I didn't like the story. At the end of the day, I just didn't like it. And but it resulted in the Rise of Skywalker just being like a bastardized, jumbled mess of like Star Wars. Like, everything coming at you. It's sort of like what Ryan says, don't let them think. Just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah. Just keep going until you get to the credits.
Do we want to talk about something other than Star Wars today?
Sure.
Well, I mean that's up to Ray. Ray.
I was just following. I forget who that was, but I was just following up the. I was just following. Okay, seeing it's not even spelled the same way. It's EY as opposed to AY.
Congratulations!
You messed up.
That was not approved for a 4-Nerd broadcast.
He's not approved for 4Nerds broadcast. All right, we'll bring it back in.
Who picked these clips?
Okay,
me. I did.
And who the hell are you?
No, we could. I forget who brought Star Wars up. But we can. Listen, dude. I'm game for. I am a very. Anyone follow me on Twitter? I'm a far more open-minded nerd than some people think I am.
So some people have said that Kevin Costner's rendition of.
Let's watch a certain trailer for a new Disney Marvel show. So the official trailer for What If came out today. Okay. And so we're going to watch it. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I know Anthony's watched it. I don't know if anybody else has seen it yet today.
I have. I've seen it.
Okay, so we'll all give it a watch for the first time then. Cool. Let's do this.
I saw it earlier too.
Shut up.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace. Do we know each other?
Interesting.
It's Killmonger.
Time.
Thought you've seen this.
I have.
Reality.
Surprise?
Reality. It's changeable.
What the?
Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it?
Every universe is different. Each one unique.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me, I get it.
Who are you?
The name's Captain Carter.
I am the Watcher. I observe all that transpires here. But I do not, cannot, will not interfere. I guess I have to freestyle then.
Hey! We have you outnumbered. A Ravager never flies solo. I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
You had me worried for a second.
Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question. What if?
I think that looks pretty badass, to tell you the truth.
Was that Chadwick or is that somebody else?
No, that was Chadwick.
That was Chadwick.
Oh, okay, there you go.
One
Then
of the
that's
last
how
things that he
it
did.
Yeah.
The one I wasn't sure about. I wasn't sure if that was Robert Downey Jr. or not.
Yeah, it didn't quite sound like him.
Yeah,
Thor sounded like Chris Hemsworth, though.
no,
Yeah.
that was.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely.
I would imagine it was all of them, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Michael B. Jordan. That was his,
Michael B. Jordan for sure.
The CG, the animation looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
I dig that. That's the highlight for me.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, the
interesting.
Watcher was Jeffrey Wright. Yes, indeed. Our new
Oh,
Commissioner
okay.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I got to
Yep.
hear that now. Gotcha. Okay.
Hmm.
You know, okay. Like I saw this earlier and I was just like, all right. So Phase 4 and all the Disney Plus stuff continues to make the case that it's probably the strongest the franchise has ever been.
So DC has answered them, and they're making an animated movie, but it's called What the Fuck.
We got a campaign.
starring Toby Emmerich, and Sarnoff, and Walter Hamada, as they fail to explain what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, well, you see,
Yeah.
Jello.
In the hell was that all about?
No, and you know, to that end, it's like you see the word multiverse is just like, great.
I mean,
That's great.
With
So-
everything that's come out so far from the MCU, like Loki, and of course this What If trailer, like you already know that Marvel's already won the multiverse battle.
It's over.
Well, 'cause
Marvel's
they got-
been
'cause-
winning
'cause-
for years.
Well, it's because
sad.
okay, all right. Here's the deal, because you're all right. Because I take all right. Let's just set some, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when I hear the word winning, that can be taken so many different ways.
That's true.
And
It's true.
you know, that stupid Spaces thing that happened the other day that fortunately I missed, that DC versus Marvel stuff. And that's like one of the first things that their fans say is, "Oh, we've been winning at the box office for years." Who the fuck gives? Who cares? None of that money goes into your pocket. None of it.
Exactly.
That's money coming out of your pocket going into Kevin Feige's bank account. That's what that is. Okay, so the studio is winning, not you, as far as that definition of winning. Now, if we're talking about, you know, if we're talking about like having a plan and having an architect to shepherd a plan cohesively and announcing things and actually having them release when you announce them and not going back on your word and having transparency with your audience and not pissing them off. That's winning. Yes.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. There's no transparency. That's why when you look at the Flash, you're like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, where are you headed with this?
Yeah.
They're like, we have a plan. Yeah, just tell them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have a plan.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to do that bit? That's why you do that bit like 15 times.
Until they actually give me a fucking plan, then yeah.
Well, they will because what they're saying now is we have a plan. You do? Yeah, it's watch DC Fandom and you'll find out. And we have to wait till then to see what the real plan is. Because obviously, look, I would say that most of them are under extreme pressure right now because now they're trying to fight off all this excitement for the Snyder Cut and the whole Snyder Universe. Because now they're saying, okay, we can do this without him. We can do this without that. And we're going to show you guys that we're going to have a viable, great product that you're going to want to come back to see more and more of these movies. But until DC Fandom, we won't know anything.
No. The before that, you're going to get a little bit before that.
Oh, the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
So here's the problem with that mindset, and it's one of those cases where you've made so many bad business decisions already. All of you shouldn't have a job as it is right now. But what's going to happen is like their plan that they won't tell us what it is essentially they're just letting the creatives do whatever. It's literally what their plan is. And so what they're hoping is that they will luck into. That's why, it's funny when people talk about the connection and people talk about, well, how does this connect to this? How does this connect to that? And, you have the video of Gunn talking about how, like, they didn't tell him which Superman got shot with the kryptonite bullet.
Yeah,
right. And I almost feel like Gunn said that out of annoyance because they didn't tell him, but in his mind, he knows which one it is.
Well, yeah, of course, he's the director of his story, so he knows what Superman got killed. He just doesn't know the actor.
Well, not killed, but shot.
Or shot. Yeah. In the ICU. He doesn't know which actor is going to portray the Superman that's in his mind for his movie. So.
Exactly. And so I feel like all of the DC creatives, including Andy Muschietti, are working on, and they're basically just like all the freedom they didn't give Zack Snyder. Yeah. They're giving their creatives now, which is why, when I hear this stuff about DJ and the VFX artists from Zack Snyder's Justice League working on the Flash movie, and when I hear about like the who's involved, and he literally takes the DCEU House of L symbol for Sasha Calle Supergirl, to me that's like, oh well, he's just doing what he wants and he's building off of what's already there, regardless of what the suits say. And that's literally the only saving grace that the franchise has, is that they're so like, and I feel like a lot of the times the creatives, all of them are going into these negotiations. This could probably go all the way back to Matt Reeves when he did his whole 2-week standoff before he finally signed the contract for the Batman. I guarantee all of these creatives are going into that office and saying, you will not do to us what you did to Zack Snyder. Put that in the contract. Yeah. And they'll say, okay, or else shit's not going to happen. And that's the freedom, by and large, that a lot of them are being given. And that's literally the only semblance of a plan that even remotely exists.
Yeah, and it's sad for like those who came before. Like, for example, on another stream, like, was it yesterday or the day before, I talked about David Ayer retweeting James Gunn's statement about how much freedom he had, saying just the word "dang." Like, if only I was given that opportunity.
Yeah, and James,
that's what I wanted.
And James responded to him and said, "What you did, what happened with you, paved the way for my." Because James is a creative. That's the thing, is like the creatives are all on this side, and the executives are all on this side. So when people talk to me, I get in arguments with people all the time on Twitter, surprised. But like, they're all like, the creatives, they all just believe that every director has been given marching orders to shit all over Snyder's work. And it's like, no, they're all from the same group. All of them hate what happened to him, and they don't want the same thing to happen to them. So why are they going to do it to him? And that's what. So when James responded to David, that was sincere. He's like, yeah, what happened to you was fucked up. And I wish you had the freedom that they gave me. But if it wasn't for the bullshit that you went through, I wouldn't have this freedom. So for that, I salute that. I hate what they did.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I think the word usage is a little odd with that, though. I think if you didn't know any better, like you're saying, like obviously creatives, they support each other and such, but like if one didn't know better, one could read that and say like, oh, thanks to you getting screwed over, I got to do what I wanted, which can kind of come off as a little negative. That's like,
I don't think that's what he was saying, though. I mean,
I know. I'm not saying that's what he said.
That's a horrible take.
I'm saying that's how it could come off.
Depending on
that's putting words in his mouth.
Leading the witness.
Yeah, you're leading the witness.
I'm just saying that's how it could come off to some people who don't know any better.
Which is why I'm glad David responded to him and said, "Thanks, James. You're one of the good guys." That kind of thing. To dispel that notion completely.
Right.
For anybody that was thinking that. So yeah, that's but all these creatives, they all know how much of a mafia Hollywood is, and
Dr. Fate,
all
Dr. Fate, all I'll say is never say never. That's all I'll say.
Well, see, and that just raises the question on what is your definition of Snyderverse, because it seems like everybody has 5 different definitions of what Snyderverse actually is. And I've told people that, if we're talking about restoring the Justice League sequels and Zack's storyline, okay, that's one definition of it.
Right.
If you're talking about the universe itself, technically speaking, he started it. And until the actors that he cast are replaced, it remains what he started.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And not only that, it's pretty clear that, especially after they freaked out over the whiteboard, it's pretty clear that they want to do what he thought of. They just don't want him involved. It's pretty clear.
That they want the clout. They want the credit. They want the pat on the back. So, and that's why he's keeping his other whiteboards under wraps. He's got more that he's not sharing, and that's awesome. My version of Restore the Snyderverse is to get to finish his Justice League,
right?
Story, how that happens, whatever, with the actors that he chose, and hopefully they can free everybody up to do so. Do I think that's a long shot? I do, but like Dawson said, never say never. But I see it's on the spectrum all the way at the end where it's like there's that glimmer, and as long as there's that glimmer of silver lining, that's awesome. But the moment that truly goes away, it's just like, okay, well, we're left with the Snyderverse that you were talking about, where he still has certain actors that are cast that they can still make profit off of.
Because they're not going to get rid of Momoa after he made them $1 billion. They're not going to get rid of Gull, after however anybody feels about 1984. The first one still did very well. Yeah. And she's still very much the face of that character right now. And they're clearly not going to get rid of Ezra because they've sided with him over 4 different directors.
Yes, and that's the thing too, is that they had all the opportunity in the world to recast him, and they chose not to.
Yeah,
right.
Which has to say something about where they're going with the story, because they could have easily just casted a new actor as to play Barry Allen, and then say, oh yeah, we're gonna have Keaton, we're gonna have Sasha Calle, we're gonna have, and it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been like, okay, well that's it, we're done.
Right. Totally.
But I think along the lines of, okay, we know that Gull is still going to be our Wonder Woman, and we know that Jason Momoa is still going to be our Aquaman, which they're going to reaffirm that because in the Flash movie, we already saw the bus that had Wonder Woman on the bus.
Right.
And that's probably all. But like that could be all we get of her in that movie, where you just see that and okay,
it's a little nod.
I'm pretty sure it's all
an Easter egg.
Oh, so she's in this universe, and that's their way of saying she's also in this universe too, guys, because it could be towards the end. Who knows?
Right.
But maybe they felt like, okay, maybe we can't just recast him. Maybe we keep the same actor. He's dedicated to the role, and plus that still fits with the continuity. It still connects, Momoa and Gull to this universe. So it kind of brings some kind of a sense of continuity to it.
Contracts though, because he was awarded, this standalone film. And that's what he signed on for. And the same thing with Momoa when he came busting out of Hamada's office, dancing and like, you don't know what's coming next and blah blah blah. It could be that he signed something that they have to honor or pay him out if they decide to break contract. And that could be just as simple as that.
Could be. So contracts could be our saving grace as far as any remnant of the Snyderverse still existing in the DCEU.
And that's why Snyder is still attached as a producer on a lot of these projects, because he had his contract states that he gets, I don't say royalties, but he gets creative
recognition.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets that accosted to him, and that's why he's also on the Batman.
Yeah, but basically, well, what I think we're all trying to get at here is that, like, as long as these actors are the same, the Snyderverse in a way still continues, but like the best version of restoring that Snyderverse would be Justice League 2 and 3. Yeah. And I think the timetable for those things being like actually announced or whatnot would be like a year to a year and a half. Because we have the Discovery merger, and you have, like, of course, once the Discovery merger happens, there's restructuring that happens. Of course, with that, you have to restructure contracts with actors, directors, and such. So that takes a while too.
And that latter part is that's really the tricky one, because I mean, aside from so in the last 24 hours, we know what Zack Snyder's doing starting in 2022, like outside of the Deadverse, he's already building on Netflix. He's got Rebel Moon, his Star Wars movie coming out. And now we also just heard today about Cavill being, that spy franchise that's going to have a minimum of 3 movies, they said. So this is where it gets tricky as far as when the hell any of it could start, because it's not like everybody's just going to sit and wait.
Right.
Exactly.
No one's going to wait around for this. I mean, they're working actors. I mean, they're going to keep taking on jobs. And look, he's doing the spy franchise, and I think it's headed by Matthew Vaughn. I think
Matthew Vaughn
is overseeing all this, and he's still doing The Witcher.
Right, still doing The Witcher. Season 2 of that is.
And he's got
season
Highlander.
1 was fire, by the way. I thought season 1 of The Witcher was badass.
Oh, it was a fantastic show. Loved that show. Yeah, but that's it. But that's the thing. None of them are waiting. It's not just the actors. Snyder's not waiting either.
He's not,
because he's got 1,000 ideas, and he's like literally he's in the best place he could be, where it's a studio that actually values his input and is literally just, he goes into the office. Hey, I've got this great idea for this, and they go, okay, here's some money. Go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing with the timetable, like, again, with everybody being busy, is like if they shoot Justice League 2 and 3 back to back, right? I think that'd be the only way that you can get that done.
You'd have to,
because it would save time, save money, and it would make it to where the actors
shoot
would be
it in
able
his
to
driveway.
Shoot in his driveway.
Yeah,
because like shooting a movie takes like 6 to 9 months depending on the movie.
69 months.
6 to 9 months.
Oh.
That's a long time.
6 to 9 months, right? Is about an average film.
66 times.
See, I know. I love
awesome.
that.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Was it The Great Outdoors?
The Great Outdoors.
Yeah, he goes 6. Wow, 6 times.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
66 times. 66 times.
I love that. I love Aykroyd in that movie. He's like, Connie, why do Chet's kids look at him like he's Zeus? And our kids look at me like I'm a rack of yard tools at Sears. God, I love that movie. That movie's so good.
Oh, that's a great movie. Oh God.
Yeah. But basically, like, that's kind of where we're at with that. But speaking of DC, and also we just watched that Marvel trailer. There was news that came out today that both DC, I guess Warner Brothers, and Marvel Studios will not be at Comic-Con this next year due to them doing their own separate things. Of course, you got D23 as well as DC Fandom. So that kind of begs the question: Is Comic-Con dead? Like, I know obviously there's more at Comic-Con than DC and Marvel. There's a lot more.
It was DOA last year.
I know, but like, is it officially?
The only thing they had last year was New Mutants. That's it.
Yeah.
They had nothing else.
They
got
JusticeCon
by
Comic-Con.
JusticeCon,
Right.
which was created by fans.
I'll tell you the biggest thing that killed them last year, which is going to probably, unless they figured it out this year, was their format was awful. Their format was terrible for Comic-Con at home last year. That's why JusticeCon beat them out, because it just didn't see. It was all this. they pre-recorded everything, and it was just, oh, we'll reveal the link to you on YouTube. That's it. There was nothing. There's no in between. There was no like it. It is such a wild difference between what Comic-Con at Home did last year and even what Fandom did. Like that whole, like literally when we were on Squadcast Media, when we literally treated it as like the 5 of us got together, like, you know, through Zoom, and we literally treated it like we were there. Like we were watching everything together at the same time. Like, oh, well, here's this
we did
panel.
the same thing.
There's that panel. And there was literally like a break in between. Like there was a point in time where like the next panel we were interested in wasn't going to be for a couple hours. We literally said, all right, let's take a break. We'll meet back here at like 2:30 or whatever. Like that was how you were able to do. And that's just a testament to how it's one of the few things DC's done in the last 5 years. It has been a shit show. Like it was really, really good the way they did it. And I think that you're seeing a future where clearly these studios are moving towards doing their own events.
Right.
Because they don't need Comic-Con anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a more targeted audience. And when you have a more targeted audience, you have more things that get the audience excited, right? If you have hardcore Marvel fans, you get all this Marvel stuff centered exactly for them. Whereas Comic-Con, like, you kind of have to pick and choose what hall you go to. Like, obviously, there's a lot of cool stuff to do at Comic-Con, although, admittedly, I've never been. It'd be really cool if I could have gone. But, you know, it is what it is. But it's a targeted event to where DC or Marvel fans can just simply be excited about their specific property.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool experience. That's why I really was excited about DC Fandom last year. I'm not as excited this time around, but like it's still like, you know, it's still DC, which is fun. But it's just interesting how like Comic-Con went from this big don't miss event to all of a sudden like both the biggest comic book movie franchises are not going to even be there.
Well, 90% of the fans are going to be like, yo, cry me a fucking river if it never comes back. Yo, Comic-Con, never been there, obviously, but Comic-Con was a fire thing, right?
Oh,
happened every year in the summer. Here's the thing, though. Hall H, packed lines waiting for fucking 48 hours just to get in that bitch or whatever. There are people who defend that thing with, they're just like, yo, like, oh, you know, this, damn it, I can't remember who did it, but they like, yo, this fan who works at fucking McDonald's saved up his money for 2 years just for a ticket to Comic-Con. Get out of here. The thing about Comic-Con, the exclusivity of it, yo, give them a hat, give them a poster, sign some autographs for those cats. Exclusive footage, get the fuck out of here. So, like, the fact that now they can't, this footage is given to everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
Online is for me, a person who like I work. There's things in my life where I can't go to Comic-Con. I would have to literally like really rearrange some shit to like go to a Comic-Con. Like, I think that's where Comic-Con is. You messaged in the thing, Andre, earlier. You said Comic-Con is dead. Bury it. It is, because now.
No, he said bury it.
He said bury
it.
That was at work, so
no, that's not an excuse. But all right, so but like that aspect of it, the fact that there's not any exclusive footage is literally given to everyone at the same time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, there's not that thing. That aspect, I think, is the one thing that is gonna kill it. It's gonna kill it. And the fact that, like we just spoke, DC and Marvel are doing their own shits and putting on fire like online conventions.
Yeah.
And obviously we have Justice Con, which is, you know, breaking the entire, like, breaking the wheel. I'll take a thing from Game of Thrones. It's breaking the wheel of like what a convention could be.
Yeah.
That's what they did last year, and they did it again this year. And so, like, yeah, that for me, anyway, that's the single aspect, was like these exclusive things that used to happen. Oh, we saw this footage from Infinity War. Nobody else will see it. Of course, you're going to have some shitty cell phone footage, but you never got to see it for a long time. You're like, damn.
Oh, I hated watching the cell phone footage. I'm like,
but that's the point right there. Is the rest of us that aren't at Comic-Con are like, well, fuck, we didn't get to see the footage. We don't want to wait. We don't want to wait. Show us the damn footage now.
It was just like that Aquaman, right? The Aquaman thing where they all got to see the ships kind of, you know, moving underwater or whatever.
Never seen that.
None of us got to see it.
Right. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, footage was one of the things I just thought that shouldn't be exclusive to Comic-Con. Anything else, give
It
out
shouldn't be.
autograph hats, give out
I agree.
posters, some kind of memorabilia,
Yes,
give
agree
out
with that.
exclusive pops. The footage is you can literally put that on a link on YouTube and everybody can watch it. You don't have to spend millions to send every single fan a pop. The footage was always that one thing that I was just like, yo, excuse me that I couldn't rearrange 2 weeks of my life and take off work to go there to see 30 seconds of fire footage that these, I don't know how many people fit in Hall H, but that these people got to see, which is good for them. If they waited in line, cool. But like, give us that same shit. Maybe an hour after they get to see it, that's fine. I'm fine with that too. But if we never get, because like you just said, Ryan, that Aquaman footage, still never seen it. I saw the movie, obviously, and it was probably what we saw. But I'm saying like that, the footage aspect is the one thing to me that Comic-Con is done. Dude. I
remember it was 2015 Comic-Con. That was when the first BVS trailer came out. The one where the long one was like 3 minutes long.
Immediately released it.
Right. Well, right. They did, but remember, they didn't immediately release the Suicide Squad trailer. You know, the actual good one from the Ayer cut.
They didn't.
But remember, I remember this. Somebody leaked it, and because somebody leaked it, the next day they were like, "Well, let's just go ahead and give it to them officially." So they have the clear one. It's like, well, why the hell didn't you release the official one in the first place? Like you did with the BVS one.
Yeah.
So you know, it's.
I mean, I'm sure
they're doing Comic-Con at home this year as well.
But that's the thing, though. Now, how do you release exclusive footage to half the people who watch? You can't. You have to show everybody. So that's
here's my thing though: is that now you had a lot of fans that were there to see this exclusive footage being released, right? Who else was there? All the big guys, the Colliders, the IGNs. You know, so in a sense, like, look, and maybe I'm looking too far into this, but like. In a way, it was almost like gatekeeping. Like, we're going to be there for sure because we get exclusive access. But
you got to come to me to get, and then you got to stay to hear my stupid commentary.
It's the accessibility that is very, very amazing for fans because that's the big thing right now with streaming services, with the online cons. Like
exactly, because then it was like
everybody gets a fair shake.
Exactly. It's like I want to know what that footage was, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to go to all these different websites to get their breakdown of what they saw, and that's going to give them traction. That's going to give them views. That's going to give them everything they want. And so now those times have changed. And so I think when it comes to exactly. And now they don't have that type of, you know, how would you say they don't have that type of advantage that they once had.
Yeah.
No, well, and I get it. If you have just take for example the Comic-Con online, right? Everybody can watch for free. Everything's free. But if you have some people who want to pay some extra, give them an autograph hat, give them a fire poster.
No, we're going to show you a trailer that no one else can see.
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man, the footage has ever since I first became aware of Comic-Con and that they put this stuff out there. I was like, wait a minute, just because they have the money and they get to see. No, give them something else that they can put on their wall with like Zack Snyder's autograph.
Swag. Any kind of physical swag. That's fine.
Yes, the physical swag.
Yeah. If I was there.
Yes.
You know?
Right. That's even more. That's literally the quintessential. I was there.
Yes,
I have brought this home.
Yeah,
you don't.
I got to. But they're like, I got to see something that I only saw once, and I couldn't take it home because it's just a visual memory.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's that same right. Okay, so that same aspect that you were talking about when the first Justice Con came around, right?
Justice Con 1.
Okay. The idea behind Crisis on Infinite Streams, which is supposed to be a live streaming event that was centered around Justice Con, right? That we all partook in.
Andre shameless plug.
I didn't say
I tirelessly I was the one
never
that
said
organized it.
I never said that.
And my point being, get my fair shake. I think
no, but my point being is that like one of the things about that whole event on Crisis of Infinite Streams was that you were getting coverage and you were getting analysis from the YouTubers that you watch that are a part of these fandoms, not from Collider, not from IGN, not from these guys who are turning out to be the biggest douchebags on earth, not from these guys, but from the guys and gals that you watch every day on YouTube, you listen to on your podcasts, you know,
or interact with on Twitter.
Exactly. And that was the idea, was that like, they're not a part of this, but we're going to cover it because this has more of a connection to the fans. And that was the whole point. And that's why it was better.
Yeah.
Job Diaz says Comic-Con can't die. It's family.
I think I'm finally going to see that tomorrow because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but
I haven't seen a single one.
ACS lived it
either.
Okay.
ACS lived it.
He lived it.
Tell us something about your family.
He lived it.
Nah, I can't. I'll be glad when that is done.
Oh my gosh, the memes have been ridiculous.
Every Rock and Vin Diesel thing, I've been like, hey Anthony, everyone's
Anthony. Anthony,
like,
when he's sleeping, he's like, bzz, bzz.
The one with the Lion King, you know? Where he's in the car with them. I was like,
we'll see, like, whenever he gets a message at night, it disrupts his dreams where he's dreaming about this.
All I got is my balls and rapping my palm that y'all want me to.
Those are fire.
It's
those
so
are
weird,
really good.
because you can't even. It's so
You can't tell.
The first time my wife said that to me, I was like, "Yo, why you send me this thing?" And she said, "No, look at it. Like, really look at it." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, no, I experienced.
She said it to you, and she was like,
"It's fire."
Yeah, my son, he sent me one where it was Christian Bale, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, no,
I was like, okay, whatever.
Okay. So Anthony, you got to be Black Adam for Halloween, right?
Oh yeah, you got to be.
Well, yeah. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna take his shirt off and he's gonna paint little white dots everywhere on his skin.
Yes.
Actually, it'd be easier to be a Vin Diesel. Just wear a white T-shirt and jeans. You're like, yeah, that's all he ever wears.
Would be,
and just go around saying, "I am Groot."
Oh, dude, you gotta be Riddick.
Riddick is fire though.
Riddick is
Riddick.
Oh yeah, if you get the like what with those glasses or like whatever.
No, it's contacts.
Eye contacts.
The knives he uses in the Chronicles of Riddick, dude, I love those knives.
You know what? We're going off topic here, but like I actually like the Chronicles of Riddick. I thought it was a cool
Chronicles of
Riddick is good.
Chronicles of Riddick is good.
But like I've heard people say like, oh, it's hella cheesy or it's stupid. I actually enjoyed it. Like I've seen it multiple times. I'm like, yeah, this is fun.
They said that because it did the franchise literally did the Alien treatment, where like the first movie was like close to straight horror, the second movie was action.
Yeah.
That's literally the Alien to Aliens transition.
I guess that segues into what do you think of the new Aliens they're talking about?
Which one?
Oh,
they're bringing that back and saying it's. I forget what they're talking about.
Noah Hawley, when he was talking about how it's going to deal with like
socio-economical, and it's not going to have anything to do with Ridley or anything like that.
So my whole thing, and they were all up in arms about, oh my God, they put politics into Aliens, and I was like, clearly you haven't watched the franchise. If you think that, but politics has been in that franchise from the first movie.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. How do you not see the socioeconomic politics of the entirety of the franchise? What are they doing again?
Yeah, they're trying to get a monster to like, or a perfect organism to try and utilize for their own purposes, which is a very political thing. Like,
they're manipulating working class miners on a ship that just want to go home into doing their bidding for a socioeconomic political gain.
Yeah.
This is not new. So that's how I feel about it. It's not new. It's Noah Hawley is not reinventing the wheel here.
That's what was so good about like the original Alien franchise and even the first movie Alien, was that, you know, the fact that a corporation would do that to its employees was nothing. It wasn't out of the ordinary. It was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, that's what people would do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I've seen that happen, especially at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
I was gonna say I was 1970. Has that changed? No. So I don't. The people that were like that whole idea of just keep politics out of my whatever franchise. It's like, It's everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's
Why
like
do you think they're being written in the? Where do the ideas come from?
it's like there's like to a certain extent, like I can understand when people don't want politics like shoved in their face. When it's like in the commentary, like that's intriguing. It creates discussion. It creates interesting. Like you think about it, right?
Put the scenario out there, but don't preach to me.
Right.
Let me sort of see what's going on, and I'll piece it together myself. How I view this
according to your own conscience and according to your
Frank,
own belief.
you know what, Frank? Yes, Whalen Yutani, Warner Brothers. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Astute observation.
That is an astute observation, truthfully. But yeah,
Astute.
No, you don't want it to be after school special, right? This isn't Schoolhouse Rock. You know, like this is.
I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Right.
Oh my God.
You know,
I remember that.
So it's not. You know, you don't want to be spoon fed it.
Right.
Know? It's like just throw it out there and let me digest it, and then I can argue with my buddy who didn't catch any of it at all, and then he can be like, "Son of a bitch, you're right," you know, or whatever. Like when that happens. So
right.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, and that's what's so awesome about some of these shows from Zack Snyder is that he lets you he presents something to you, to the audience, and then you can talk about it. You can debate about it, and no one's right, no one's wrong. It's just how you interpret what you saw.
That's it right there. No one's right, no one's wrong when it comes to subjective opinions.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it is. And too many people either want to be right or prove somebody wrong. And it's like, why can't you just simply believe what you believe?
And some people will stream for 6 hours just to try to prove they're right about a subjective art form.
Wow. Really? You're going to bring that up?
You're going to bring that up? It's not about you, okay? We have Ray on here.
I'm just saying. I
just went through this horrific
I suspect you're talking about
Dawson got gangbanged
in particular
for 6 hours.
He kept getting, he was really sore.
What?
Okay, we're gonna
get him out of here.
We've gone somewhere
I'm gonna
else.
play this for Andre.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Go f yourself!
Yes, that's really Andre.
That took I don't know where we went. I don't know where that happened. I don't know.
So let's bring it back to Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Because there was a tweet that came out today from a certain actor who we all really like and actually shares a name with our good friend here, Ray. Ray Fisher tweeted out talking about the Ice Cube movie situation, right? Talking about Friday's franchise.
This is
and
ridiculous.
Ray Fisher says, from Friday to Justice League, Toby Emmerich appears to be a common denominator for these race-based and discriminatory issues. I'd love to pick Ice Cube's brain about his experience. So I was talking about the fact that, like, Ice Cube's having...
How can you follow Warner Brothers Pictures? I don't follow them.
You follow Warner Brothers Pictures?
He does.
I probably still do.
Looking at the,
to keep tabs on what's happening.
Wow.
Anyway, about this.
Okay, so this Ray Fisher tweet
that's the story right there. Hold on.
But y'all guys are like, so you follow Warner Brothers Pictures?
Seriously,
bro.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Taking your eye off the ball just a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Scraping the pool.
Pfizer says it will seek FDA approval.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Ray.
No, it's just I've said this before. Old Hollywood must go, and Toby Emmerich is a product of old Hollywood. There is no question about it. And every time we hear something about what happened with Justice League or anything going on with that whole mess, he's the common denominator. Like even more than Johns or Sarnoff or Hamada, Toby Emmerich seems to be like the common denominator in all of this
because he's over them.
Right.
He's who they report to. He's who they they answer to him, and so everything has to filter through this guy. And unfortunately, the same thing with the Friday franchise. It's just they didn't they take it? They took it somewhere else, right? Because he was like, nobody's going to care about.
He took right along to Universal, but he's trying to get the rights to Friday away from them to make the last Friday movie.
And get this, see if this sounds familiar. Warner Bros. Claims that Ice Cube is the problem.
Right.
Who else did they say that about? Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
Like, they're the problem. It's like, no, it's a pretty consistent pattern of people not being pleased with how you treat them.
Yeah,
as far as talent wise,
I think
like,
it's another case of they're like, well, this is an IP that we don't want to get rid of. It has a market, it has a fan base, it makes money, and we don't have to give it to you, so we're not going to give it to you. But is it the right thing to do? Probably not. But they don't care.
Yeah. It's popular still. Like those movies they're popular movies, and like, but they're not doing anything with them except for just making money off of.
They're
like,
just they're making
DVD
money,
sales
and
whatever streaming platform that they're on. That's basically what. Yeah,
I mean,
but so if Ice Cube is trying to get that from them, why not? I mean, I'm sure he's going to pay for. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they're just saying, nah, we're not even. I don't care how much you pay us for the rights to those movies. We're not going to give it to you. That's
it just depends also on legally. Like you said, these things are streaming services. And they go on to these different streaming services, and somebody holds the rights to these things, and then the rights expire. So it could be that when the rights expired, does Warner Brothers re-up and renew and hold on or keep the rights, or do they allow for the creative, which would be in this situation Ice Cube, to purchase through his company, purchase the rights from them or whatever. So I mean, I'm not going to say that Cube is owed this thing. I mean, if they bought just like when Michael Jackson bought the rights to all the Beatles songs out from underneath McCartney's nose, and he was like, these are really profitable, you should do it. He bought them first. All Paul can do is just kick the dirt because he didn't act on it. So I mean, it's kind of that same situation. From what I'm seeing, I don't know, the behind the scenes of this issue. What's he saying?
I love Warner Bros. Said Ice Cube was the problem because that reinforces exactly what Ray Fisher has been saying all along. Yep. It is never Warner's issue. It is always the other party that is the problem. LOL. No accountability for their actions.
True.
That's
and
exactly
I agree with that. I mean, the way that they handle things, and that's the whole reason why Cube came out with it as far as putting it in the public domain, is that he wants to let people know, hey, he might have some legal claim to it, but he's letting everyone know, hey, this is what's going on. Same thing with what I said with Ray Fisher last year. We didn't know that he wasn't a part of the Flash movie. Ray came out and said it. Warner never said it. Muschietti never said it. Nobody said it. So if we don't hear from the creatives themselves, we don't know shit.
Yeah,
which is not how it should be. That's
right.
Not how. Like,
it should not be that way.
And just going back to what we were talking earlier with Marvel, it's like how do you hear about that news? You hear about it from Feige first.
Yeah,
you hear about it from Victoria Alonso and Luis D'Esposito and all those. They're parliament of people, right? Like it's because there is. And they don't, and it's not even like they tell you everything. Disney's never going to tell you everything.
They give you just enough,
right? They at least know. Well, we can't tell them everything, but we have to give them something. Warner Brothers is like, we're not giving you shit.
Yeah,
and that's just that doesn't work.
Exactly. I love what Ray Fisher said in that tweet where he'd love to pick Ice Cube's brain. Could you imagine a podcast where Ray Fisher and Ice Cube just talk about their issues with Warner Brothers with each other and like talk about their stories of what happened? Like, that would be freaking amazing.
There would be a deadline, a THR, or a variety piece the next day from Adam B. Very.
Mm-hmm.
A new interview with
I think it would be on Variety
with Ann Sarnoff talking about how Walter Hamada, her Asian producer who just got promoted, knows the Black experience, and Jeff and Lebanese American Jeff Johns. Please make sure you say that has and previously had a Black wife. Knows exactly what that's. You get another one of those stories. You get another the day after the podcast.
Oh yeah, so, absolutely. They'd be rushing to the nearest reporter to give their statement.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. The Lebanese American. I remember I was like, wait, what? He's Lebanese? Like, what does that matter? I don't know. I didn't think it was pertinent to the situation, but I guess you have to designate at that point. They felt the need to, which I was like, I don't.
Let's see here. Re75 says if Ray and Ice Cube talk, we might get the haircut announced the next day.
They're like, hey, look over here.
No, what they'll do is
that move up DC fandom.
We're so used to that. Hey, look over here. That's the only thing that would actually probably be like, oh, I will look over here for just a second, then I'll go back to this podcast.
Well, right. Like
they would announce the Ayer
isn't
cut.
Black Adam.
They would announce
he ain't gonna let them do that.
The
shit.
Flash 2. Like,
Flash 2.
Okay, Flash 2. Like,
no, it'd be the Flash 3, much like they did with Stargirl. They're like, season 3. Like, what about season 2? Season 3. Put it out there now.
If you got a 3, you gotta get a 2.
It's common sense. It's numbers.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No, it's It's just.
He's dodged the entire thing, and for the most part, he still has a part in some of these productions, and they haven't made him address or talk or interview anybody.
Yeah,
I mean he's gone like radio silence.
Wait, the only thing he does now is the last two things that he did. He was in that really creepy fandom panel last year for Stargirl.
Where he sat there like.
That was just such
You're talking about Hamada?
No, I'm talking about Johns.
Oh, Johns.
He looked terrible in that too.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, you haven't heard from Johns, you haven't heard from Joss, you haven't heard from really Hamada, other than like an interview. You haven't seen them, giving an interview or anything like that. Like, they are saying, shut the hell up. Let this storm pass by. People will forget. They have short attention spans. The only reason why people still bring it up is because people like us, we bring it up.
Right.
If we don't bring it up, it's not going to get brought up.
And Ray still drops.
Oh yeah, every so often.
Ray Fisher still puts out, "Hey yo, don't forget."
Right. Mm-hmm. Like today. That's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think there was when Superman and Lois premiered, there was like a behind the scenes. There was like the first pilot.
Oh yes,
was
I
like
remember
90 minutes long.
They had a special.
It had a special
where Johns was on there saying some.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the last thing he was in. So it's like that's literally all he does now.
And that same special like little segment that you're talking about, like I have no doubt that Jeff Johns made the actor for what's his name, like one of the boys, the Kent boys, the actor for the Kent boys, the black-haired one, made him say the phrase, "It's a modern day Superman done well." You got to know that was Jeff Johns. Like that was totally Jeff Johns.
Probably.
Totally a dig at Zack Snyder.
Which is stupid because if anybody watches Superman and Lois, Superman and Lois is all, for all intents and purposes, it's Man of Steel 20 years later.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's Man of Steel 20 years. And I find that hilarious that Warner Brothers and like Johns, they want to like push aside Man of Steel, and yet the last two Kryptonian-centered shows, both Krypton and Man of Steel and Superman and Lois, both not only had people that loved Man of Steel, but openly reference and homage it in the shows.
Oh yeah. Like the entire cinematography style is basically an attempt to replicate Man of Steel.
But the problem is, and I found this, is that I can't get through these shows. They don't have that story that really draws me in and says, "Oh man, I'm invested." Like I don't care about
Krypton did for me. I love Krypton.
I like Krypton season 1.
Fire,
Season 1 was great. Season 2 started becoming like Superman and Lois. I just trailed off. I didn't care. After Lobo, I was like, I could give a shit.
I like the Zod. I like the Zod story. I like that whole. I like season 2. I did. Yeah.
Well, you're wrong, Ryan.
I haven't finished season 2.
See, he didn't even finish it.
I was
actually pretty heartbroken when they didn't renew it. I was like, oh, dude.
Yeah, no, well, especially the way they ended it, Anthony.
Yeah,
They ended it on 3 cliffhangers, not 1.
Yeah,
3 cliffhangers. Like 3 things were teased at the end of Krypton that are like, well, that's. And then the next day we were like, it's over. Like
it's over. That's it. Wrap it up,
dude. Let's go.
They're like, hey, we're gonna bring in the Eradicator and what else? What else?
I mean, because like the. Well, I don't want to say. Why? I don't. Does it matter? Do you guys care?
I don't care.
You go ahead and say it now.
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Not ever gonna watch.
I mean, the freaking Omega symbol.
Yeah, the Omega symbol.
The Thanagarians.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, just there was so much. Like, the fact
exactly
they were headed to Earth. Right, like the whole thing, it just all of that. What the name of it? The actual name of his son, like all of that, just yeah, just all.
Oh, I'll that anybody who's never watched Krypton, give it a watch. To me, it's worth it. It's a fire show. When the baby's born and he says his name, that's a that's a game changer for me. So yeah, it's only 2 seasons. Maybe HBO Max might pick that shit up if they're so inclined to be like, yo, that show was kind of fire.
But
Just
it was
listen
supposed to be a prequel to Man of Steel.
Yeah,
It was
Originally, yeah.
Yes, it was. Yep.
And then that changed.
And then they were like, let's just change it.
Let's not do that.
Well, that's when the funny thing is, like,
BVS was too dark.
It was almost like the showrunners were like, whatever. Like when they were told to change, they're like, yeah, okay, sure. We're not going to change all of it.
No.
Yeah, they're just like,
because if you watching the show, it's like, no, they there's a lot they did not change.
Yeah, and it's also like if they did tell him that, it wasn't like when Zach was originally filming Justice League, where like Johns and them could be in the background over his shoulder. They couldn't because they're still filming DC movies, so those people have to be there.
Right.
So they could say, "Hey, send a memo down to the team working on Krypton to change that." Meanwhile, hey, I got to go work on this Aquaman movie. I got to make sure. And then they were like,
"Oh, hold on. Got it. For Job Diaz, just got to say this. Make sure that he understands that we're talking about."
What the?
He's gonna start Krypton on spoilers. I won't spoil it.
All right, okay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
There's a lot in that show that we did not mention. That's pretty ridiculous, pretty insane stuff that's in there. That
when
really
Jimmy Olsen comes in and he's from the future and he's got a
god spear, kryptonite spear. Jimmy Olsen.
Lois Lane shows up and you got yourself a major paradox.
He has a kryptonite camera.
I know we played that trailer that I thought was pretty fire. Didn't discuss it at all because we just
we just shot right past it.
I will say this. I do want to ask you guys this though. Anybody, Zack Snyder, David Ayer, anybody. Well, there's a couple people I think could get it done. They'd be like, "Oh yes, whatever you want." Any one of those dudes that walked into Warner Brothers and be like, "Yo, let's make this animated series called What If DC? Like, what if this? What if that?" What are they laughing him out of the room or what? Zack Snyder comes in and says that they're gonna laugh his ass.
If it's
James Gunn comes in and says that though. Here's all this money. Make all the money shows you want.
Do what you want.
If the Russos, if Anthony and Joe Russo walk into Toby Emmerich's office tomorrow, they will announce What If DC the next day.
Yeah,
it will happen. Yes, Anthony and Joe Russo, or like John Favreau or James Gunn, like anybody involved with Marvel at all.
He replied.
Ice Cube tweeted Ray Fisher.
825. He just did that.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, bullseye. Let's go.
Okay.
Dang.
The podcast is going to happen.
Let's see it. Let's hear it.
It's exclusive. Be like a Twitch feed, right? Because Ray's on Twitch a lot, right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
They're gonna open a space on Twitter.
It's gonna be an Instagram live. You're just gonna have to catch that shit, man. That's true. Yeah.
But I mean, Anthony, you're talking about a DC what if. I mean, well, on my channel, there's a couple of what if videos about DC.
Oh no!
How you doing?
Nerdy in many ways.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's a thing. It's a thing.
That was.
You're a few letters away from spelling nimwit. Remember?
It's a word that doesn't even exist.
I know. That's not even a right word.
What if?
No, but honestly, I think Ryan, I think you should refashion the whole Marvel's What If into make a whole thing DC's What the Fuck.
No, you know what? That's what started. That's what got us off the trailer. Was that?
It was that comment. We're like,
Totally.
Congratulations, Ryan. You just
I derailed the show, and I'm proud.
You got to make it now.
Welcome and thank you so much for being on the 4Nerds.
Does he even know he's muted?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
He does now. He's like, shit.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with this message, Anthony.
Unsubscribe to Zeeverfett.
Hey, you know what? I get unsubscribes every day. It's fine with me. I don't want if you're fickle, if you're a week in the belly, I don't want you. Just you gotta go. You gotta go.
That That's what she said.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's freaking awesome that Ice Cube responded like
Exactly.
dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, this could get very interesting.
That's.
I think they're gonna talk, but I don't think it's gonna be
A public thing.
Yeah, they're just gonna talk.
No, it's but someone at Warner Brothers did just go, oh shit.
Yeah,
Damn it, he's doing it again.
They're making
Ray
this
Fisher,
public, right?
He's not
Right.
leaving us alone.
And they're like, "Oh, it's Ray Fisher. He's a thorn in our side."
What are we gonna do, Toby? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Something racist.
Mechanism. Something right.
They're like, oh, drop the Batman trailer now.
Look, it's that angry black man we can't have at the center of our Justice League movie.
Now we got two angry black men talking to each other.
Everyone smokes weed. He used to be a part of this thing called NWA.
Oh my god!
Make us a gang.
Right. Oh man, no, like that's the whole and like that the you know that's one of them is just like watch that movie, watch Straight Outta Compton. That explains it all.
Yeah. That explains the whole experience.
Oh, it's just, oh god.
Have you seen the movie Colors?
Have you seen Roots?
I mean, it's like it's
When
getting to
you're
the
got
point.
it.
It's getting to the point where like I don't see how people can keep ignoring this stuff that's happening, but with
Yeah.
Warner Bros. Mistreating their talent and such, like it happens on a constant basis. And there's so many people like I get that some people wanted to give Warner Bros. The benefit of the doubt due to like the history that they have and such, and the great movies that they love coming from that studio. I get that, but now it's at a point where like we've seen. You know, Ray Fisher come out talking about it. We've seen Jason Momoa touch up on it. We saw Gal Gadot talk about it. Now we're seeing people outside of that group.
I mean,
with
are
Ice Cube.
they all lying? Really? Are they
Right.
all lying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like as far as and that's what bugs
Did they all
me.
meet together and make this ruse to like
Right.
try to blind people?
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. And that's the thing. It's not even. I mean, you know, the racial stuff aside, which is clearly there. The racial stuff is clearly there, but it's like it doesn't matter. It's just like whatever. We're the mafia. We'll do whatever.
They don't care, and the reason why is because Momoa is shooting Aquaman 2, and
Right.
he's talked poorly about them. You know, they would have, you know, had Ray not said, "Hey, I'm not going to be attached to anything that Walter's attached to," that he would be in the Flash. They would still continue to employ these people who are bad mouthing. They don't care.
No.
Same thing with Gal. She was like, "Yeah, you know, he tried to do
He's
something
here.
stupid."
He's here.
And to the
Yes, yes.
Walter Amada has joined the chat.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm still president.
welcome.
All
I
I
guess
gotta
he's
say
one
to
of
you-
nerdy subs.
All I got to say to you, Walter Mata, is this is how I feel every time I hear news about your universe.
and to be clear, because I also hate the term Hamadaverse because that implies that he built anything and he didn't build shit. There is no such thing as the Hamadaverse. Like
Right.
it doesn't exist.
I
He
agree.
did not build a damn thing.
I know it's a derogatory term, and
Mm.
people say it just to plant something Hamada negative, or you know, like we used to see, you know, what's Hamada with you? You know, it's just because he's a plight. He's a cancer to what's going on, and you know, we need to. I would hope that you know they would clean house. You know, it looked like they were in the process of cleaning house, but they just shifted one moron for another. You know, and that was kind of, it's like, oh, we got, you know, instead of Kevin, we got Walter. Like, is that better? Is that worse?
Or really, it's. I mean, if we're talking that structure, it was Kevin to Anne, who we thought was going to be an ally in the beginning, and then she comes up with that hit job, like that piece after Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's like, oh, you're just as bad.
Yeah,
you know, you're
that,
part of the
that
whole
piece, especially, it really felt like you know that scene in the movie Wall-E when he frees all the jacked up robots, and then the security shows up, and they just like push him forward to go to deal with them. Like, I feel like that's what they did to Anne Summerhouse. They're just like, okay, here, your turn, go. It's like, wait, what am I saying? Just say we have a plan. Just say we have a plan. And then it backfired. Everyone got pissed off. They're like, damn it, Anne, what did you do?
In there?
It's like it's frustrating because like I
hey,
feel
you're
like
supposed to button this up. What'd you do wrong?
I feel like a lot of times we as DC fans we see these new people come to power and we see them as an ally. Like Jason Keelar, we all had a lot of hopes about Jason Keelar. Turned out he just was simply like kind of going along with what he was told. Like from what I understand, like Toby Emmerich just kind of gave him the plan of the whole release in theaters and HBO Max the same day and just didn't really read it. It was just like, oh, go ahead with it. And then now it falls back on him because like he trusted the wrong people, right? He trusted Toby Emmerich. And so like he's pretty much out of the picture and no longer a saving grace. And you have Ant Sarnoff, like you mentioned, Ray, who's kind of, out of there with as far as like not being an ally. And Toby Emmerich's just a freaking scumbag. Like it's like we can't catch a break with leaders of our entertainment as far as things we're fans of.
Well, and like the other, like what Ryan was saying a second ago about how, they don't care how much shit these guys talk. They just are going to keep making moves. So it's like, but the funny thing about that is you're right. They don't care. But you want me to believe that they care enough to make the Flash a reboot movie to start things. They don't care at all. They don't have the wherewithal or the mindset to even know how to reboot anything.
Yeah.
They're out to lunch completely on all of this. They don't do homework. They don't know any of this. It's like, how are they, if they don't care here, but they care here? No, they don't care at all.
So let me pick your brain a little bit about the Trench and the New Gods movie that they canceled. That they clearly didn't have to, but they did. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think the catalyst or the idea behind that decision was?
The decision to like greenlight them, or the decision to cancel them?
The decision to cancel, not the decision to greenlight. Greenlight's like, oh, hey, that sounds like a good idea. Go ahead.
I mean, like Neil Blomkamp's Alien movie was greenlit. That didn't go anywhere.
Right. Well, as far as
they could have left it in development hell, guys. They did not have to come out and say that we're no longer developing this. They could have just left it on the table.
Yeah.
Like I was talking, I think Anthony, like Beetlejuice 2. They never said they canceled that shit. They just never put it in production.
I honestly, it's smokescreen because what happened, right? Like after, not so much with the Trench, but definitely with New Gods. New Gods was one of the, like I said, it was one of the projects that I was really, really looking forward to, not just because of Ava DuVernay, but because of her passion for Jack Kirby's original work. She's talked glowingly about Jack Kirby. Big Barda, her favorite superhero. I was excited to see that. So when you decide to cancel it, the built-in excuse is, because you just saw Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So clearly we can't do this New Gods movie.
They're like multiverse.
But not.
Exactly. So that the whole point of it is to incite outrage in a different direction. Well, we couldn't do this because we just did this, which is bullshit.
Oh, that was the worst. The absolute, when they canceled that and the reason was given was because, we could have given it to you if Zach hadn't put him in his Justice League.
Well, that's the name of the game for Warner Brothers. They've been giving terrible excuses lately. For New Gods, it was Zack Snyder's Justice League. For Harley Quinn's show, it was Heroes Don't Do That. Like, the excuses are ridiculous.
I'd like to at some point really know, because like you said, they don't care about anything, okay? Like, I don't understand. Restoring the Snyder Verse is literally printing money.
Yes.
And most studios, you can, in whatever decisions they make, you can always bring it back to money.
Yeah.
They release a movie.
It's a business.
They release a movie. It doesn't do good. They had planned to do a sequel. It didn't do good, so they don't do a sequel. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a fucking ridiculous, like, fire smash hit.
It's still getting acclaim.
Yes.
Even from Quentin Tarantino.
Which one did Leslie Jones live tweet?
Yes, exactly.
Did she live tweet the bullshit 4 years ago? No. Did she live tweet this hilariously?
So,
yes.
Like, that would be like a thing I think that all of us fans would just want to know. What if you don't care about this and that, do you not care about money also? Because they are literally what with a grudge against a dude who all he was doing was fucking making movies that he loved to do. You if you have a grudge against him that big where you're just turning down millions upon millions of dollars, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's
You don't deserve
Literally.
to be in business if you do that.
No, I thought that's what they were in business for. Obviously to entertain, but they can care less about that because they're at the top. So, but the money is what I thought that they would really care about.
It's not
the money and the money.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be
more
the
money.
No money, no problem.
That's what you're turning down.
But it's not the money. It's not the money. It's the control. And it's got to be the control that they really care about.
Dude, that's
So somebody just found Ryan. That's awesome. But no, I mean, when you cancel New Gods, right, and you give out that reason, okay, so that's a weak excuse for canceling a project. But at the same time, they were never. But here's the thing: is that as far as they're concerned, they weren't going to go in the direction. They wanted to get away from the whole dark side thing to begin with. So they're like, why are we developing a movie that further promotes a character that was just put in Zack's movie?
Yes.
In Justice League, we were moving away from that. We hinted at dark side, but that's way down the line at that point. Now we don't give a shit.
The real reason was Thanos.
Yeah,
they were like,
that's one
you
thing.
got Thanos.
I talked to somebody earlier this week, and they were like, well, why'd you have to go and do all the dark side stuff? He accomplished the same thing in Justice League. It's saying his name and establishing him as a character the same thing now.
No.
You're freaking kidding me?
It was so and the way they presented it was it was so under his breath. It was he's like, for the unity. Dark side. It was wait, what?
Yeah,
totally. Dark side? What was that all about?
It wasn't. Yeah, no. It is so offensive, and I know a few people that see no difference between Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm like, that is the most offensive fucking thing I could possibly hear anybody say.
Well, let me ask you, Ray. I do want to ask you because we have you on the show. We're all huge.
Go ahead and ask him.
Zack Snyder fans. What do you think about Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Fucking love it. Seriously, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, so we've had this discussion, and I haven't done an updated DCEU rankings yet. But
you're gonna do it now.
Exclusive.
Here's the thing: is the one thing that just about all of us, most people, friends of mine, mutual people that think along the same lines as me, we can agree on this. The top three, in whatever order, are Man of Steel, BVS Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
Whatever your number 1, 2, or 3 is, rotate them. For me, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's number 1. That is number 1. It is
Birds of Prey.
It is the not. I like Birds of Prey. I really like Birds of Prey. No, I fucking.
Well,
like
you
Birds
like
of
the
Prey.
sequel trilogy.
I do really like.
I understand.
Ryan,
Come on now.
It's all subjective.
I apologize.
Nobody's right. I mean,
I apologize
wrong.
to my Deucey co-host.
But no, I mean, and
General
and
Holdo.
Point counterpoint.
But no, I had I did the whole thing where I watched, I timed this, right? I watched Man of Steel at the right time, at 9:30, and then I watched BVS Ultimate Edition at midnight, and I was the first yawn came up at the end of Man of Steel, and then I yawned 3 or 4 times through BVS Ultimate Edition, and then as soon as Zack Snyder's Justice League started at 3:30 in the morning, not a single yawn. I was all right, let's go. Let's roll. Let's go with this. And then at 7:30 in the morning, when the sun was out and the birds were crying, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to crash. But that movie gave me energy. That movie is just,
I did not miss a minute of that movie. When I watched it, thankfully for me, I'm on the West Coast. So it was 12 o'clock when it came out. I was like, this is fine. I don't care. I was wired at that point. I was like, oh my God. It's just...
And there were things about it, Dark Side in particular, that surprised me. It's and that's the thing that I try to impart to everybody that is finding out about this movie for the first time. It's bear in mind that 95 to 97% of this movie was filmed 5 years ago.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're like, well, what part wasn't filmed 5 years ago? Basically, anything the remember that part with the Joker. And
the futures, the Nightmare Future was the only thing that he shot. That was the additional footage.
He's somebody explaining it to a layman, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, and also because the Ben with his whole conversation with Martian Manhunter, he filmed that later. He clearly
he filmed
had
that.
to.
He already filmed it.
Ben,
they had already filmed Ben's part. The only thing that they did
really
additionally,
no. So you're confusing that because they had to reshoot Ben because the original time they shot it, they were going to do a Green Lantern, and so he had green glow on him. So they had to reshoot that so there wasn't a glow.
Yeah.
So the Ben that you saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League when he woke up, that was shot in the additional photography.
Yes, that was a reshoot.
Yes,
he looks very different.
I don't know about that.
He looks very different.
It straight up is, very different.
He
looks way skinnier. You know,
he does.
Well, that's you watching Fat Fleck though from Justice League.
No.
Okay, look, now you're just getting angry. Okay, you calm down. Put on your Deathstroke mask.
Like me when I'm angry.
Look at Ben Affleck's hair. Look at Ben Affleck's hair throughout the entirety of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then look at his hair
It's a hairpiece.
No, it's not a hairpiece. It's his hair now.
It is a hairpiece.
Okay, we're talking about. We're arguing over a stupid point here.
But
yeah, keep going, Ray.
But that's the whole thing. Is like just that was one of the biggest things that blew me away about the movie. Is like he planned to do this, like 4 or 5 years ago. Like there wasn't like like all the dark side stuff, right? And even I will admit, originally like going into it was like I wasn't a big fan of like the OG Steppenwolf look. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, no, he made it work. And not only did he make it work, he actually had an arc as like a tragic arc.
Like you felt bad for him.
Right. You did feel bad for him.
When he started to choke up, like I was like, oh man, I actually sympathize with this guy.
Right. Dude was like that. Well, that whole, that whole thing with him and Decide, he's like, let me make a plea for him that I may come home after I take this world in his name. You betrayed him. Your own family.
Decide fucking just straight up like,
man, Dom should have gotten in there, but like, you betrayed your family. You don't do it to family.
You giving him another idea. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Oh man. But no, that movie is, I mean, that movie does so many things and like has so many layers to it. Things that you just don't see in big budget blockbuster comic book films, and that's why, like if I make a master list of like all the shared universe comic book movies and I put that number one, I'm gonna get the bias claims like, oh, you're just saying that because you're a Snyder fan or whatever. It's like, no, I can give you my own subjective opinions on why I think a movie like this blows away Endgame, Infinity War, or anything like that. Like I can give you those opinions as to why I think this is arguably the best live action DC movie we've ever seen to this point.
And the big thing that separates Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League, like, look, at the end of the day, people can either disagree or agree with the style in which the Justice League was made in both versions, right? Some people like the more campy, brighter, and then they'll be more drawn to Justice League, sure. But the thing that separates Zack Snyder's Justice League is that it was going somewhere. It tried to do more things than Justice League did. Justice League was so bare bones and so simple and really dumbed down to where there was nothing to explore. There was nothing. Where Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's so much substance. There was a direction. They were hinting at things other than a freaking Legion of Doom or whatever the frick they were doing. That clearly wasn't going to happen.
I also love the fact that this is something you hear a lot in terms of criticism of any of these comic book films is there wasn't anything forced in Zack Snyder's Justice League. When you go back to Justice League, I love, the whole thing about how I don't love it, but like the thing, and you notice how there was that forced animosity between the team, right? They like, they had to put
Steve Trevor tell you that,
right? They had to put Wonder Woman at odds with Batman. Oh, they've got to do this, and they've got to like all that forced animosity bullshit.
Let me recreate that scene when they started arguing in Avengers with with Loki's staff right there. Let me recreate that entire scene where all the Avengers argue with each other.
Right.
Let's do that in this one.
Right.
How can we do that? Let's make it so Bruce says some fire.
And I tell you what, the biggest culprit of like terrible script writing in a movie, in my opinion, is in Justice League, where Batman is in his like little dojo which apparently exists. And Wonder Woman comes in and she's like, you can't do this forever. He's like, I can barely do it now, but Steppenwolf, this is the job. I was like, What the hell does that even mean?
No,
Like, what are you getting at with that? Like, that's so basic.
They were like, okay, Ben.
No.
Now I want you to act like this is the last time you're ever going to play Batman and go.
Yeah,
but I mean, there were so many of these, so many scenes that were changed that turned out even worse. I mean, like at the end or in the third act when they land in where in Russia, when they land and they come down the ramp and he goes, and in Justice League he says,
they came down like this.
Yeah, so they came down.
Well, they landed and then they came down the ramp.
So then
you saw,
he goes, I'm gonna take down that tower, whatever. He was like, don't wait for me, just do the job. And he walks away. You're like, okay. But in Zack Snyder Justice League, he says that and he goes, this is why I brought you together. It has more meaning behind it.
Well, and not only that, like I'm going to go back to the conversation here in a second, but speaking of that scene that you're talking about, like even with the like final battle, like you don't get this impending sense of how imposing and huge the Parademon army is at all in Justice League. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's a shitload of them.
Yeah, there's an army of them.
They spend 10 minutes killing parademons. That's it. That's how many there are, and they still haven't killed all of them. Like they just killed enough to get into the factory where they can deal with
and there's only one hint in the movie of the scene that we never, because there's some scenes that we never got because they never shot them, which was the Batman finding the Parademon hive.
Yeah.
Now when they're on the rooftop and they're talking about where they could be at, and they said, these tunnels intersect underneath the water, or whatever. She even says, she goes, it's a hive. Like she refers to their base as a hive. And that's the only time you ever hear it referenced as a hive, because that's what it was supposed to be, and that's where his army comes from, is that they're turning people into parademons.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But so there's that, and like then you go back to the scene where they figure out that they're going to resurrect Superman, and the entire conversation of that is in Justice League is just completely led by Bruce standing in front of a green screen. That's literally all it is, right? But in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then Wonder Woman's like, no, Bruce, no, resurrect a monster like Luthor did? And it's like, whatever. And then in Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like a circular conversation.
It's a round table discussion.
The box brought Victor back. Victor wasn't dead. Life is either 1 or 0. It's to be or not to be.
It's such a fire scene.
By the way, that like I can't remember what show Zach was on. He went on somebody's content creators. I think it could have been the Film Junkie. I can't remember what he was on, but he said that. He said, and we filmed it. I mean, I don't know if you guys will like it or not, but I put 2 cameras and I was like, that sounds fire as fuck. Give me that. They're going.
No, you're right. We talked about the rig that he built in order to be able to.
I was saying that he said, I don't know if you guys are going to like it or not. I was like, are you fucking out of your mind?
No, it was
everything.
Well, because the way he shot it, the way that it was, how the dialogue was written, the fact that it involved everyone, because it just goes around the table. Can you operate this box, Victor? Of course, but we don't know enough about Kryptonian biology. There's no telling what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, but we have to try, don't we? We have to try. What do we have to lose? And it's an organic, natural, right? It's an organic, natural conversation between 5 people. Who are trying to figure out if this is a good idea and how they're going to do this.
But even the suggestion that that Victor is working for the enemy, it comes across more organic. And he goes, that's a long story. You got somewhere else to be,
right?
And then he goes into that story, and that story was fire the way it was told. I was like, wow, this is so much better than what we got.
Well, and not only that, I forget who just posted the whole thing about the mother box turning smoke back into a house, and then Barry's like, I know what we're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
who's going to say it right now? I'm not going to say. And what I love about it is how Junkie XL creeps in the Man of Steel move, the Man of Steel music, and then. When Barry says, "Who's going to say it?" I'm not going to say it. There isn't a verbal answer. Cyborg just goes. Boom!
Yeah, he just puts it out there,
right there. It's just like, and then the music kicks in. Like
my favorite. That's my favorite.
Oh, what?
And then you hear John Williams theme out of nowhere.
No, because remember for a long time, everyone thought that was Supergirl. Remember, like, oh, the leg's smaller. It's not a girl.
The calf is smaller. Yeah.
But it was just, but I mean, just
that shit is so.
I still want to know who was it. Emmerich himself that called it unwatchable. Because I just don't get how.
I don't think he watched it. That's why
he had said that nobody had watched it. They just decided that we're going to do this.
Nobody had watched his cut until he showed it to him back in, what was it, 2019?
Yeah, nobody had watched it. They had come to the conclusion that, like, we just need to turn reverse the tracks on this. It's funny because so I was watching this with who was it with? It was my brother-in-law. We're watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. He had never seen it before. And so we're watching it, and mind you, he had seen Justice League like years ago, so he didn't even remember. He's not a huge fan. So was it? Imagine someone was wrong and they weren't thinking about Super. I know. They're like, "Whoa, what are you talking about, man?" I was thinking about the sandwich.
That's
they were talking about
that's in the extended Justice League cut.
Yeah,
they're talking about Jack and BVS. That's what they're going to resurrect.
No, but what was I going to say?
I don't know.
My train of thought.
You were watching.
And so at the end of the tunnel battle, Cyborg, he opens up the hatch and he flies off. It's like, and it backs out. And literally, he was like, "Did he just bail?" And I looked over at him and I was like, "What did you say?" He's all, "I said, did he just bail?" That was kind of crazy. And then I thought about it and I was like, was there a chance that when Joss or Jeff Johns, whoever was watching the scene, that one of them said, "Did he just bail?" I think he did. We should add that, and that's kind of funny. Yeah, let's do that. It was so he had never seen them, like he saw it like years ago, had no recollection of the movie, and his first reaction was, "Did he just bail?" And so it made me think. I wonder if that's what they thought when they first saw the scene, and they just wrote it in because they thought it was funny. Like they got a laugh out of it. They're like, "Yeah, let's write that in. That's good. That's good stuff."
Sounds, one-liners, right? Because there's like there's like a couple different ways that you can do humor. There's the one-liner forced, like humor, and then there's situational organic humor. Like for example, like the scene that someone just pointed out about how in Justice League, Steppenwolf just grabs him, doesn't even land to grab the mother box, just takes it right from the Victor. But obviously in Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's the whole thing with Silas's death, and so. In the midst of all that and everybody coming together, like, what the hell are we going to do? That's when Victor reasons that he marked it. It was like he was trying to superheat it. Anything like that would have to blink off the charts on a thermal imaging scan. Yeah. Your father sacrificed himself to mark that box. We have to get back to the lab to use the satellites to scan the Earth for thermal anomalies.
Again, an intelligent script.
And then Flash is like, "I'm sorry, you have a satellite? I have 6.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that's a Batman joke. That's Batman's humor.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, "I have 6." You know what I mean? Like, duh. It was just perfectly timed. I was like, yeah, that's Batman. That's exactly it right there. Exactly. He gets it.
Okay.
And
you smell good. Oh God.
The fact they replaced the words "you spoke" with "you smell good." Yeah. Get freaking out of here. Come on.
See, this is what I'm saying is that like they basically gave Joss Whedon and probably even Jeff Johns involved with this. They gave them free reign to do what they wanted. Because I mean, come on, why would you change a line?
Bruce used to have 7.
That is true.
That is very true.
And that would have been fire too if he. I used to have 7. that
would have been funny. That would have been funny.
And this freaking guy over here was just like messing around with Zod, destroy my satellite.
No, not that much exposition.
Well, that'd be a spoof version where like goes in depth. It's like, when Zod attacked Earth and freaking Cal and stopped him from crashing my satellite.
But still, to change that line to "you smell good," like what train of thought said, "Oh, you know what? That other line, that's not going to work. Let's change it to "you smell good."
Yeah.
It's more intimate. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because my wife smells good.
It's creepy, is what it is.
That'd be cool.
Hey, Kryptonians smell real good after they're been dead for a while.
What was it like being dead?
Pen that in the script.
Like itchy, really? Oh my gosh.
No, it was just it was lowest common denominator, and it was out to lunch, and it was just like, oh, let's. literally try and make this like as bland and as accessible as possible, and they made it so bland that nobody accessed it.
No,
Yeah.
I would rather watch any other superhero movie other than Justice League. I would rather watch Captain Marvel.
All right,
than watch Justice
no.
League.
I got one. And people who have followed me understand the gravity. Philip Barker and others, they realize the gravity of what I'm about to say.
Okay,
I would rather watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 twice than ever watch Justice League ever again.
Yeah.
Easily.
And people who follow me know how much I don't like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Volume 2.
it just the first one I loved it. The second one was just it just seemed
not
like
that good.
it was a rehash of a lot of things they did in the first one.
Yes.
with some more spice, and it was just kind of like no, it's
The
just
thing
not.
with Guardians of the Galaxy, the thing with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2
jokes, yes.
is that like it condensed how big the world felt. Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, it felt massive. You explored different planets and everything. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 mostly took place on one planet.
Yeah.
It's like you really shrunk everything down.
That's a very good point.
Very stationary.
That's a very good point, Dawson, that I quite honestly didn't realize until just now that it is very much a micromanaged film compared to how sprawling the first one. I mean, you're going to the Kiln, you're going to the Xandar. You
Nowhere.
Right, nowhere. Wherever the hell Thanos was to meet Ronan. Right, wherever that was, like there's several different locations that they go to in the first movie.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy,
right?
Not Guardians of Ego, the Living Planet.
Yeah, totally.
Which, like, I was excited for Ego, the Living Planet to explore that concept, but like, be more places than just there.
And you know what? I was surprised by it, but I thought Lee Pace did an incredible job as Ronan the Accuser. I thought he totally pulled that one off.
Yeah. I can get that.
And like Lee Pace was in a show called Pushing Daisies, which is an entirely different kind of show. And I never would have guessed he would be like Ronan the Accuser. He did a fantastic job. Why are we looking at ACS?
Because he's just staring at his screen really intently like he's angry.
Yo, they just dropped the Hollywood Critics Association nominees. Like, there's some
Well, what is it?
WandaVision is getting mad love in this shit.
Oh,
well, share your screen. Share your screen.
No, that doesn't.
Okay, hold on.
With Boner?
Yeah, seriously.
No, I know that everybody focuses on this stupid bait and switch with that, but it actually was.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I didn't like the show. I like the concept.
I like the show.
Okay. I like the
show.
execution of the different genres. I think that they nailed each era. I think that I love that, but the show overall was stupid, and there was no. I mean, she was a villain. She was a villain in the show, and there was no justice. So therefore,
I mean,
let's see. HBO was that Barry Allen versus Arrow?
Best animated series or animated television movie. Invincible. Hey,
it's not going to win, but cool.
Yeah, probably.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn's in there. Probably going to be. They're not going to choose the hardcore shit.
Hell no.
Yeah. Let's see. Best. Okay, let me get down to the stuff I was just looking at. Dave Chappelle, best sketch. Let's see. Best broadcast. No, that's not it. Best streaming limited series anthology series. That's where they put WandaVision. They can't put Loki there because it's not done. But that would have been under the category of
the Winter Soldier thing's not there either.
No, Falcon and Winter Soldier isn't there either.
So I'm guessing, do they not think that's a limited series or?
I guess they've never officially said because
live action television movie.
Because I've heard I've heard like Elizabeth Olsen officially say no, there's not going to be a second season. Of WandaVision. So
there's
maybe
no second season for that one,
right?
Yeah,
so maybe
I think the
where
Queen's Gambit's going to win that.
I was going to say Queen's Gambit's going to win that easily.
Best actor in a limited series anthology series. You got Paul Bettany right there for WandaVision.
Okay, wait a minute.
He did a really good job though.
Cranston,
he did a good job.
Grant, Edgerton, dude, this fucking category is stacked as fuck right now.
Yeah.
But he did really good though. I thought Paul Bettany did an amazing job. I thought both of them did.
Is there a category for like continuing series?
I hadn't.
How about streaming movie? Is Zack Snyder Justice League in here?
Hold on, I was still trying to look through it before Dawson told me.
Yeah. And what else is there? ACS.
Best actress in limited series.
Could you do like a Control F and look for Zack Snyder
Control
Justice
F,
League?
Shift
Kate
F, right?
I have heard like amazing things about Mayor of Easttown.
Dude, it's
I've
fire.
heard like it's an incredible show.
There's not many series that I like, besides the ones that I don't
I was
want
gonna
to
say.
What?
You're like, there's not many series that I like. I can name a few that you already like.
No, I'm saying that I like, just like make it a point that I have to see this.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Why is Randall Park nominated for WandaVision?
Best supporting actor.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Best supporting actress. They got two of them from WandaVision. Kat Dennings.
Okay, no, Kat Dennings I get. Randall Park I don't get.
He didn't do much.
He didn't do
Catherine
much.
Hahn, I get.
Well,
Well,
he was in every
Catherine
episode,
Hahn,
though,
yes,
right?
of course.
Randall Park was in every episode, right?
Tanya
Yeah,
Paris.
At least a little bit, but yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but
let's
he was
see.
kind of a
Broadcast.
He did not do nearly as much as either Catherine or Kat
yes,
did.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
Best supporting. Okay, I'm looking for the stream. Best streaming series comedy. Okay, that doesn't fall.
Hey, it's a comedy. You fucker.
No, wait. Where's wait?
they win.
Okay, well, I'm looking for best actress in a streaming series.
Best
Okay,
actress in
okay,
series
good. Okay,
comedy.
good. Just so long as Kaylee Cuoco was nominated.
Oh,
the
yes, the
flight
flight
attendant was
yeah.
fucking brilliant. I love
Yeah.
that show.
Best support. Okay, let's get to the. Okay, that's network. Best cable series drama.
These are actors.
Best, yeah. Okay, best supporting broadcast. Best streaming series drama. The Boys.
That's not winning.
The
That's not
Mandalorian.
winning.
It's not winning. It's not. The Mandalorian will win.
It's gonna go to either The Crown or Bridgerton.
Bridgerton, yep.
Yeah,
The Crown
yeah,
or Bridgerton.
Best
Yep.
actor in a streaming series drama.
Carl Urban.
Wow,
He's not
really?
winning.
This
Pedro Pascal is definitely not winning.
This has French dude from Bridgerton written all over it.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Best actress in a streaming series drama. Aya Cash, The Boys. Let's see, Elizabeth. Jesus Christ!
I hated her, but that's how effective her acting was in The Boys. I hated her and wanted her to die.
And wanted her to die.
Yeah, check this. Best support. Okay, they do have it in here, so I guess they didn't think. Look, best supporting actor in a streaming series drama, Daniel Bruhl, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I guess
what the hell?
I guess they didn't think the series was good enough to
That
be.
show was better
I
than
thought
WandaVision.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier
no,
was
no.
a better series.
It was
than
better than
WandaVision.
Ryan. I will agree with that. That Falcon Winter
Yeah.
Soldier was better than WandaVision. I will agree
No,
with
the
that.
category though, it's streaming series drama. So that's saying it's
Oh,
going
drama. Oh,
Is there a
No,
streaming movie?
series,
or-
because the actors like when dude from who played Division, Paul Bettany, his category was best actor in a limited series. So I guess they're saying the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Giancarlo is killing it, which he does though. So that's this. The Boys.
Okay. Timeout on him though. Does anybody know him from anything before Breaking Bad? You get Giancarlo Esposito. You get bonus points if you do, because I remember him from like Spike Lee's earlier movies, like
Do the Right Thing,
like Do the Right Thing, and School Days, and Mo Better Blue. I knew that was before anybody knew who he was as Gus Fring. Like,
You want to blow his what?
Shut up, Matt. Shut up. He's just fucking with me right now.
So there's that. Wyatt Russell, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, best supporting actress in a streaming series drama. Ming-Do Wen. Yeah, what?
and then she wasn't in the season that much.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like her character, but she's gonna get way more time in the Book of Boba Fett than she just did.
Yeah. Also, these categories have like an insane amount of like nominees.
God, what are you doing?
Yeah, I didn't see Army of the Dead, and I didn't see Justice League.
Maybe it's not movies because I don't see any movies.
Yeah, there was nothing about movies.
It's all television shows.
It's like all shows. Yeah.
All
series.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that was a complete waste of our time.
Oh yeah, look, there it is.
That was a complete waste of our time.
It literally just said the TV awards. It was the Hollywood Critics Association TV Awards. Just said,
so we should have known from the beginning.
Yeah. So Anthony was like, I'm just going to skip this part.
Wow.
Yeah. So
but I mean, honestly, because of the streaming age and the streaming wars, the line between movies and television really doesn't exist that much anymore. truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I understand that there's still a format difference, but as far as us being able to watch and absorb them, there's really where's the barrier? There's really not a barrier anymore. And it really, the barrier started to come down when the unions merged years ago, when SAG and AFTRA came together, and they were like, okay, we can do shows and movies at the same time. And it just kept, you know, going down this path where now it's like you see all these creatives going to Netflix and Hulu and doing all the streaming stuff because the studios are like still iron fist. Like, we're not going to let you do this. We're not going to let you do that. Not just Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers isn't the only one restricting freedoms here. Like, Martin Scorsese had to go to Netflix to make The Irishman for a reason. Martin Scorsese. How the fuck you saying no to him?
Yeah.
But they did. And he had to go to Netflix. And now Spielberg, you know, Amblin, how many years ago was he arguing about Roma at the Oscars?
Yeah.
And now Amblin just signed a Netflix deal. It's like these guys see where the wind is blowing. I can't wait till Nolan signs with like Netflix or somebody. That is going to freak so many people out.
And if that rumor actually pans out that he's wanting to make a movie with Ray Fisher and he does that with like Netflix or something, like, oh my gosh, that'd be the biggest slap in the face to Warner Brothers ever, and I'm all for it.
Oh boy, that would
Zombrilla has a question for Ray real quick. Do you think an MCU film or Disney Plus show will ever have a rotten rating?
No, not at this point. And it's silly, right? Because even if
it deserves it,
I'm in a really torn place with this because one of my good buddies, one of my long-time friends, Brian, I remember I loved The Dark Knight when it first came out, and I was so like effusive of it. And he goes, okay, I know you love the movie, but I want you to name 3 things in the movie that you didn't like. And I did. But as years have gone on, it's like, why do I have to name anything that I don't like in a movie that I really liked? I shouldn't have to have that as a qualifier. So on the one hand, I'm there. But then on the other hand, I'm like, you've done 23 movies over 13 years, and they're all good. Like they're all of them are just critically acclaimed. All of them are just like, right? And it just, you know, and I 24 now because Black Widow is already certified. It was certified fresh like a week ago, and it's just it's never. And you know,
and somebody just messaged me and said it's fucking fire. Legitimately, somebody just messaged me and just said that it is ridiculous fire.
I heard it's really good, but I heard it feels more like a.
I haven't seen it. I mean,
you know, I haven't seen it yet either.
Like an early MCU movie. That it feels like you're watching a movie that is like at least like 5 to 6 years old.
Okay, cool. You know what?
Which is good.
If it's phase 1 or if it's early phase 2, I will probably enjoy the hell out of it because that was like the prime of the MCU really started to turn a corner, like the latter end, like it's like Age of Ultron on. It really started to turn a corner into jokes and bright colors and all digital everything. It's like, okay, so if it's like that, cool. And I'm not saying that like, okay, fine. If Black Widow is certified fresh, okay. But some of these others, it's like, you mean to tell me that you guys really like collectively just
basically you're saying nobody's track record is that fire. When you have 23 straight movies that are fired, no.
That just seems unlikely. It really does.
Yeah.
Like
someone's paying critics.
And it's not even that, you know, like for me, like there's only one MCU movie that I legitimately don't like, and that's Guardians Volume 2. The others I like, but I have degrees at least. I'm not putting Thor Ragnarok on the same level as Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not putting Spider-Man: Far From Home on the same level as Iron Man. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So where is that? Where is the natural degrees with these? And you're not seeing it on Rotten Tomatoes.
I still personally hold Iron Man to be the best solo film of the MCU, bar none. Besides, I mean, Captain America: Winter Soldier, like, yes, pretty good. I enjoy Captain America: First Avenger, but like solo origin story, Iron Man takes the cake.
Origin story, yes.
Yeah,
I will.
That's what I meant by that origin story.
I will completely agree. Yes,
yeah.
I think Iron Man is the best origin story.
That's
but
a good one.
I also think way too many people sleep on First Avenger.
That's
way
true.
too many people.
First Avenger's fire. That's a really good movie.
Yeah, it is, and I think, but for me, as far as the Captain America movies go, once I saw the Winter Soldier, I was like, yo, the First Avenger was fire, but this is next level, like you think about that. That's the Marvel film with the least amount of jokes in it. Like you can literally like watch that.
It was. I mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I'm saying you can literally watch it and notice that because you've seen all the other movies and you know like the formula. But
and the jokes that are in it actually work. Like for example, when he gets in the elevator, it says, "Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?" Like that makes sense. It works.
Yeah, that was badass. I was like, he's gonna whoop some ass.
I didn't even consider that a joke. I considered that a warning. It's like y'all are done.
Or like
it was intimidating, but it was funny because it's just like, dang.
Oh
his little notebook, and he has all the things that he has to see and do. You know, that was like, I get that. It's funny, but the thing that I'm hearing about Black Widow, which is similar to what we saw in the Winter Soldier, is that it is a more grounded movie. Whereas, you know, a lot of the Marvel movies have gone to the point now where it's just like special effects, you know, crazy, which is cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy them, but that was one thing that the Winter Soldier brought that hadn't been done before, was that it was a much more grounded film. You didn't have a Tony Stark who's flying around in a suit. You didn't have a guy who could essentially fly or shoot lasers or do anything. He literally was hand-to-hand combat. That's his thing. Right. And so you had multiple combat scenes, and they changed the way, like Marvel hadn't done hand-to-hand combat like they did in Winter Soldier. That was the first time that I watched a Marvel movie, and I actually felt nervous, especially when he was fighting the Winter Soldier, like out in the city in his street clothes. I was actually nervous. I was just like, he might get hurt.
That's one of the best. Like that's one of the best sequences in the film. Like as far as like any hand-to-hand combat, especially
it's
like
the most intense.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it's a score playing, but if there is, it's not very loud, and it's mainly just sound effects. It's just a very intense scene, and you're just like, holy crap! Like they could die.
Well, even like for Jackman, like sorry, but like even in Jackman's case, he knew when to pull back a little, because there is a hint of score in there, but he pulled back and let the clang of the shield, and like the smashing into the trucks really drive
with the knife,
home.
like.
All right,
across the van, you're like, damn, you know, it's like.
And anytime you hear his arm, because his arm makes noises, his arm makes noises the whole time, like any of that, like it just heightens that tension. And after all of that, Bucky, right? After all of that, the revelation.
Bucky,
right?
But even when he would whip his arm, you know, when you like, you know, it's just like, damn, you know, I mean, it gave you that sense of fear in a sense, you know, it was just like, oh shit. Like this is some serious shit, and here they are running from him. Right? He's not trying to capture them. He's not trying to question them. He's trying to kill them. He's got a freaking machine gun and a grenade launcher, and he's trying to kill them. So it's like, wow, this is some real stakes here. Right? It's not like Thanos, like, oh, I'm trying to get the Infinity Stones so I can snap. And you guys will all fade away. No, he's like, no, I'm trying to shoot you in the head. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, okay, hold on.
And it's not and they're all hiding and like. Natasha shot, like she's
she got shot. It was like,
right?
Damn.
And it's literally a case where no one's calling Thor, no one's calling Hulk. This is it. We're on our own here, trying to survive this. So,
it's a literal war, which is it creates a lot of great intensity, and it creates again a sense of dread, which is perfect for it. I consider the Winter Soldier to be like a spy film, a spy action thriller,
espionage. You know,
espionage. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
The one joke in there that I don't like it too much, but it still fits. He's like,
on your left.
No. On your left. In that scene, that shit works. No, she says. If I what did he say? If I run as fast as I can in these shoes, they're gonna rip off. Like I don't like it that much, but it still fits. You know what I'm talking about? They're walking through the mall and they're walking really fast or whatever. That whole entire scene in the Apple store is fire. It's hard for me to find.
I'm still waiting for them to reach that level with an MCU movie. I am still waiting, but
I don't think they want to. I think at this point they're happy with what they have.
They're happy with the cookie cutter stuff they're doing.
You know what? I feel like Falcon. I feel like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the closest they've come, and that's obviously Disney Plus, and it's a show. And I'll just go ahead and throw this controversial statement out as well: the fact that Captain America, you know, Iron Man has a trilogy, Thor has a trilogy, Captain America does not have a trilogy.
Yeah.
Captain America does not have a trilogy.
But see, I felt that
Civil War is an Avengers movie.
But Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I felt was more Civil War than it was.
Absolutely, that's what
was Winter Soldier. That was more on that level.
It's what I wish That's like that's what the third Captain America movie should have been. Falcon and Winter Soldier, like
deeper. Yeah, I just felt like it was like, hey, let's do a team up movie. Okay,
totally. Let's do a team up movie and throw in Spider-Man for good measure.
We all know though. We all know what happened. Though.
Like why they did that.
Yeah. And they were like, yo, we're gonna make this movie about Hydra. That's the third Captain America movie is gonna be fire. It's gonna be Hydra. What? They're gonna Batman and Superman are gonna fight. Oh, okay. Fuck that Hydra shit I just told you about. Yo, let's fucking Iron Man versus Cap.
Yo, dude, I got this fire idea for a fight in an airport, dude. Like, I got such a great idea.
We got Team Cap and we got Team Iron Man.
And guess what? No one's trying to kill one another.
The emptiest.
Yeah, they're just trying to give each other big bruises.
The emptiest fucking cinematography ever. Like, seriously, like people. I know people that like tout that shot of them running towards each other. I'm like, there is so much empty space. In that one shot, it's nothing. It's meaningless. It's vapid.
I love when people they take a screenshot of that and they put it beside the actual Civil War in the comics, and there's like fucking 200 more like characters in there than there is just like
200 more. Yeah,
there's a lot. It makes it
massive.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like I like Civil War, especially like the part where they bring Scott Lang out of the van, and he's like, "Hey, you're Captain America." He's like, "This is great. Hey, you're good too." He's pointing at Wanda Maximoff. Say, "Hey, you're cool too." Anyway,
no,
he's essentially us in the scene. You know what I mean, I thought it was funny.
And by and large, I do like the movie, but it's an Avengers movie. That's all it is. It's not. I like it as an Avengers film. It's not a Captain America film.
Right. So, Agreed.
All.
And with that, we have reached the 2-hour mark, which we usually try to keep our shows to. But Ray, this has been such a blast. It was great to get on here. It's been a great conversation.
Definitely have to do this again.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. No, it's awesome. Thank you for having me on. I enjoy these types of conversations.
Yeah.
So
and it was great we were able to work it out, and it was great that I was able to get Andre to not schedule somebody else when we're supposed to have you on.
I'm sorry.
I'm just
You've been called out, son.
Whatever. Wow.
No,
okay. Someone else said son, not me.
But Ray, just in case anyone in the chat for some ungodly unknown reason doesn't know where to find you, can you let them know where they can find you?
Well, my show, The FLITECAST, is available at theflightcast.com and also wherever podcasts are available, like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, Stitcher as well. My blog is also at theflightcast.com, and I am on Twitter mostly at The FLITECAST, but I've also got Facebook and Instagram for it as well.
Nice. Awesome. So guys, go check out his podcast. Is a great job. And also just check out his Twitter. That's one of the things I love about Twitter is going on and seeing what take you put on there. Because like a lot of times you're either a voice of reason or someone who gives like an alternate take that I hadn't thought of or some other people hadn't thought of. And it's refreshing. And I really enjoy seeing that. Yeah. So just keep up the great work, man. Keep thinking outside the box.
Thank you.
Because it works. It really does.
Yeah. Thank you. I do appreciate that. It is all subjective.
Indeed, it is all subjective. And speaking of where you can go to find us, be sure to check out everybody here on the panel and the 4Nerds at our Twitter pages as well as our YouTube channels. Also, be sure to check out the podcast where the audio of this will be posted after the fact.
Yeah, make sure you download the audio when you get done. So,
hey, I got that. I got that. All right, I got it. But guys, we appreciate you guys joining today's episode of 4Nerds. Enjoy what you love. Read a good comic book. Watch a good movie. Listen to some good music. Just be a nerd and enjoy yourself. And with that, guys, we'll see you guys next time.